a lot of those gains in the morning session right now is Shopify. What is the opening price? 64.50s. All right.
All right, so apparently it's 11 o'clock already. I just checked it. We did get the lunch menu. We got Thai green curry coconut, Thai green curry coconut crusted white fish with steamed rice and roasted vegetables. Okay, that sounds rather enticing. I will be having a salad. Currently, the only thing I'm in right now is Micron, which is heading back into the downside. I know you're in a short as well in Uber, as the market's actually trying to reverse a little bit. But it's time to learn to trade with the professor and Adara. Go get them. They're down SMC.
Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that Midday Show. That is your girl Adara in the bright red. But I think you wore the wrong colors today, Adara. Well, maybe, who knows? Who knows? Maybe we end up turning red. Yeah. But yes, wait for everyone to come on over from the other side of the chat. There we go. Charlie Taft. We got Roniel Garcia, Matthew Booth, welcome back, my man. Nimit, what's going on, my man? Chase Bands also joining Adara and I today. Hold my beer, holding his beer while this market, I guess, does things. Mr. Jonathan, we got Bongzilla, Brian Thomas meeting us as well. Paradox TH, Jeremy Newman, and Trader Drew. We got Nakul, we got Day Trader Cut, and Small Goblin. I will not have any big goblins in this chat. Aaron and Joanna Brewster. We have got the Piper, Oscarito, Mark Knight. We got Roberto Trader Without Stress. Love that name. That's a hell of a name right
jealous,
there. Yeah. Rivian Millionaire. Tough day for Rivian, obviously, but all good there. Nate, Darius Golden, Tammy B, and 1320 Wolf. Good morning, Adara.
Good morning. How are you on this fine, exciting little Wednesday?
I can't complain. The weather is really good out there. There's no humidity today, so it was really nice to be able to get in a nice little walk there without, having to sweat profusely in your own clothes.
Or bring an umbrella.
Or bring an umbrella, because I did walk with an umbrella yesterday.
Yeah.
So committed to my midday walk. But let's get right to it, guys. Adara's in a trade, so I'm going to let her cook there and do her thing. Before we start, I just want to show exactly some of the small cap gappers. Well, they're not even small cap gappers, to be honest with you. They're all mostly earnings plays. I didn't even put a small cap gapper on today. I guess we'll look at that in a second, because as I look at my scanner, ADTX is doing things. But I've got Lyft on here as it tries to get off that $9 area and weasel its way into 10. We'll be looking at Lyft, Airbnb, finally catching a bid. Don't know what's going on there. Up into 115 off that 110 hold. Rivian as well, Disney, all reporting. SMCE, SMCI.
SMCE.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough day for SMCE today, Adara. SMCE is reeling here 16% to the downside, but that's being, I guess, counterweighted by Upstart. Upstart is on the dang way up. It just printed high a day, $34. This thing is up 42.5%. Go Upstart, go. I have no idea what your business is, but it's all good there. Keeping an eye on CrowdStrike as well.
We have 3 super chats already this morning.
Wow. Okay, Adara, we got to get to those.
We do. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, thank you for letting me know. These are left over from the other chat. All right, let's start up here. Stacks. We got Stacks giving us $199 worth of stacks. Thank you very much. My man says, great show. Appreciate you and appreciate your comment, obviously. Big Smile Burdette, or as Adara called you yesterday when I showed her that really nice picture of you smiling.
How about this?
Big Smile Burdette. What's going on, Big Smile? She did call it, and she wanted me to credit her for that. So, impressed was she with herself. Neil, spoiler alert, Big Kyle set the hammer toss world record in the summer of 2007 while working on a hay baler on a hot summer day with a thunderstorm coming. I kind of believe that story. Shout out to you, Big Smile. Always doing the most in a good way. We have Zenod, 1066, $2. ADTX, yes, sir. See that, 88% in the clear, almost 72 million shares. We'll get that in the hot second. Day Trader Cut, $2 super chat. Thank you very much. This market rewards those who are not greedy. Haven't heard that before, but I do like it, Adara.
Yeah, I like that as well. Right now I'm in Shopify, and I'm making this face because we're going to have to wait and see on this. I had multi-time frame confirmation. I basically, when we had that big huadunk there below the 90 MA, I said, let's see what we do at VWAP, which came into confluence with that 66 level. We broke below 66, is retested. That's where I got short. Took a decently sized position, again, not like massive or anything, but I wanted to kind of build out. I'm risking 30 pennies. We're about to get to where I'm going to have to get out here if we get to 66.30s aggressively. And then I was basically going to try to make minimum 50 with 50 cents with the first part of that position. Not sure if this is going to end up working out in my favor, but happy I tried it. And I think sometimes that's what matters. You take risks if you want to make those rewards. As we get into 30s, this is where I'm going to have to say adieu to Shopify. I'm going to have to park my card outside, return it, and Shopify fill me. Thank you very much, Shopify. Pleasure doing business with you. Not really, but it's all good there. Right now, though, we're going to, definitely lots of other ideas to talk about, including one idea on Disney that has a bit of a bizarre origin story, but we're going to start here with the lesson of the day.
Absolutely, yes. So let's get right to it. We are talking about earnings all week, guys. And I think it's very appropriate today, given the zillion names that we had to review this morning. Adara obviously doing a fantastic job with that watch list. And so that's it's tough play there. So let's get right to it. Identifying potential earnings plays. We're going to talk some options today, guys. So all my options traders out there, get your listening hats on. We're going to get right to it. So earnings season presents both opportunities and risks, kind of goes without saying. Learning to identify potential earnings plays can significantly enhance your trading strategy. So let's get right to it. So we're going to talk about different earnings plays. I'm going to submit to you guys 4 different option strategies that you can kind of engage in to take advantage of some of these earnings plays. So let's get to it. An earnings play is a trading strategy, essentially, that aims to profit from the stock's price movement around the earnings release date. So the first one we're going to talk about is long calls. So what are we talking about here? So essentially, it's super simple in explanation, a bit different in executing, obviously, because you got to get the right price and the right date and everything like that. So this involves buying call options on a stock, obviously. It's profitable if the stock price rises significantly after earnings, and your risk in this particular instance is limited to the amount that you paid, your premium paid for the option, okay? So whatever you ended up paying for the option, that's the maximum amount that you can risk in that one trade. Your long, and here's the call options change. So I took this, I screenshotted it from my own platform on Apple. You'll see on the tab up the top, you have different expiration dates. The first one set expire on Friday. They always expire on Fridays unless that's a holiday. That is 3 days out from yesterday, obviously. August 16th, the next one, the 23rd, the 30th, etc. Then you're going to have your strike price, the price that you think it's going to move up or down to. And then you're going to have the open interest at that strike. So you're going to be able to see the amount of market interest at that particular stock price there. You'll be able to see the volume, the bid size, the bid, the ask, and the ask size, kind of like what we see on the level 2. So this is kind of how it's all laid out. I'm sure you can add more columns. I just left the default setting on mine, so showing you what it looks like. Long puts. Let's talk about that. This involves buying a put option on a stock. Obviously, it's profitable if the stock price declines significantly after earnings. And again, like the long calls, your risk is limited to the amount that you paid for that option, okay? And here is the other side of the options chain. This is the put side. So again, you've got the strike price right in the middle, and then you've got the open interest to show you market interest in that particular strike, followed by the volume, bid size, bid, ask size. And in the top right-hand corner, implied volatility, IV. We'll get to that in a minute when we get to the end of the lesson, because we'll talk about some of the Greeks. And if all my options traders will know what I'm talking about there. The other trade or strategy I should call, is called a straddle. And this involves buying both a call and a put option on the same stock with the same strike price and the same expiration date. It's profitable if the stock price moves significantly in either direction, since you have both, but it requires a high degree of volatility in order to really profit off that. And here is kind of the diagram for a straddle. Again, you know I'm not an options trader, so someone's going to have to explain this to me. I know that my platform allows me to kind of have these different options trades. I can put, the Iron Condor or whatever it is, the straddles. It has these pre-programmed different settings that I can go into, so I don't actually have to do it myself. Calendar spreads, the last one we're talking about here. This involves buying and selling options on the same stock with different expiration dates. It's a little less risky, than the straddle, as it benefits from the time decay or on the shorter term option, and it's profitable if the volatility remains relatively stable or decreases. So those are the four we're really going to talk about today. Obviously, we're not going to get too nuanced in them, but just letting you know that there are different ways, rather than just buying and selling equities, to be able to, profit or involve yourself on these earnings plays. And here is basically the diagram for the calendar spread. You can screenshot that if you want. All right, so how do we screen for these earnings? Now that we know the trades, that the different options trades that we can weasel into, what's the actual methodology that we can employ to figure out, what's upcoming on earnings? Well, first and foremost, we can utilize an earnings calendar. So utilize an earnings calendar to identify upcoming earnings release dates. This helps you prioritize companies. Personally, I would prioritize them with a high potential for earnings surprises or significant market reaction, like the Teslas and the Nvidias, for example. And you can consider the timing of earnings releases relative to other market events. For example, are you getting an earnings release on the same morning that we're getting non-farm payrolls? If we are, well, you may have some extemporaneous, involvement or injection into the actual price action of the name that you're trading, because it's not just going to be exclusive to the earnings release. It's going to, have some NFP filtering in there. And this is kind of what the earnings calendar looks like. Obviously, my platform has one. Other platforms has one as well. But if you don't have it, you can go to Earnings Whispers. They do a week for you, I think. I don't know if they do the month, but this is the week. This is obviously from last year. So this 2023, but the same week, next week for last year. All right. So the other way to screen for potential plays is to conduct some fundamental analysis. And we're going to just talk about very easy type of fundamental analysis. First and foremost, you want to know the industry performance of the name that you're going to trade. So you identify sectors, with positive growth prospects, earnings, and positive earnings expectations. Like until lately, it was all the hype about the chips. Last year, in 2022, was a lot about oil and energy. Last year was really kind of the Mag 7 exclusively. So you want to identify the industry performance with either the most upside potential or downside potential. It really doesn't matter because you can go both ways here. You also want to look at the company growth specific to the name that you want to trade. You're going to look for companies with consistent revenue and earnings growth, or misses, because you can take it both ways, demonstrating strong financial health or bad financial weakness here, to take it short. You're also going to consider the analyst ratings. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. So consider stocks with a high consensus analyst rating and recent upgrades or downgrades, for example. Earnings history as well. Analyze the past earnings reports for the specific company to identify patterns and trends. For example, is there something specific to the economic conditions which helps this company do better or worse? Are those economic conditions in play at the moment? And then you also want to consider the surprise history. What is this company's history for beating or missing analyst expectations? Because that's what's going to lead to the most beta. Okay? So that is kind of what we're just going to look at from a fundamental perspective. Let's talk about some of the Greeks, though. So implied volatility is one that I always have my eye on. And I just want to show you guys quickly where you can get the implied volatility if you don't have a platform that allows you. So Market Chameleon is a free website. We're not sponsored by them. They're not paying anything for this, obviously, but I want to show you. So you can just log in. You have to make a free account. You go down, you go up to the earnings tab over here. You click that calendar, and then lo and behold, you get a list of all the different names that are reporting today, both after the bell and before the market open. Let's look at Novo Nordisk, for example, over here. Look at this, the expected move. That is the expected move, the implied volatility. So we're looking at this one. This one was expected to move plus or minus 6.8%. And look what it did. It dropped 6.7. So well within the range. And now Danielle Shea actually brought in a really good point. I remember her on the market recap with Adara and Sean basically explaining her position that if you breach the expected move, the likelihood for reversion is a little bit less. So if you were to, say print 8% down on Novo Nordisk, the likelihood that you would retrace to the pre-earnings release price is diminished somewhat. So Market Chameleon, you can get all that information from there. Yeah, so that's basically that. Let's go on to the next Greek over here, time decay. Important one as well. Understanding how the time value of options erodes as the expiration date approaches. You need to be aware of that. This can influence your choice of expiration dates. I showed you on the Apple one how there were multiple different expiration dates there. The delta, another Greek that we need to be aware of. This measures the option sensitivity to the change in the underlying stock price. This helps assess the potential profit or loss for different stock price movements. And last but not least, one that I don't really know too much about, the theta. It represents the rate of time decay. So understanding theta is crucial for managing those options positions. And here is a little, infographic about the Greeks. If you want to take a screenshot of that and have a little cheat sheet there for you, go right ahead. So that's basically it. I had a risk management slide, but there's really not too much to talk about there. Diversification is important as well, spreading your risk across multiple stocks and strategies. Position sizing, especially during the earnings season when things can be very volatile, is super important to risk management. So make sure you are position sizing correctly, and stop loss orders. Can't always stress that enough. Got to make sure that you have a plan to get out, Adair.
Hashtag stop them losses. Yeah, have a plan to get out. And that's how you can avoid situations like this snafu that I had on IWM. Whose fault is that snafu? Mine. So basically, I've talked a lot about my tire trading rules. Usually implement them closer to 1 p.m., thereabouts. To be fair, I love this level in IWM to the extent that I even mentioned it on the small cap recap. I love that 206.60. I was like, if 206.60 holds, I think it's a nice long. To be fair, we were below VWAP, but we had these higher lows. We were bouncing off the 90 MA, blah, heh, heh. I was like, okay, cool, I like it. Now, what was the issue here? I went in with too much size and then I immediately added. To be fair, I added with, initially it was a smaller position and the plan was to add there at 206.70s, or I didn't even think I'd get my 206.70 fill because we were holding 80s really well. And then we sink like a stone and get filled both at the same time. I should have gotten out there. And then we get to 60s and my brain is so dead that I don't even notice we're at 60s. The management here was disgusting. It was PU, not a fan. But now we are in that Disney position, and I'm super proud of what's happening here so far. So I want to talk about this. Disney, much like IWM, I had levels, but Disney, I feel a lot better about these levels. I mentioned earlier I had kind of an odd reason in part for being interested in Disney. And I've talked a lot about how music, I feel, influences my trading. Sometimes I'll have random songs in my head. This morning, and Sharif can testify, I did say this out of nowhere. I said, I have Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid in my head. That's kind of weird, right? Then I'm at the big desk, and I have He's a Tramp from Lady and the Tramp in my head, and I'm thinking, oh, Disney confluence, and that's when I realized I'm like, maybe the market's telling me to trade Disney. To be fair,
I like that.
I'm being serious, but to be fair, I already actually liked the level in Disney before that happened, and that level was 88.20s. Now, if you look at any time frame, you're going to see 88.20s.
Oh, yeah.
Heck, even the daily, you'll see 88.20s. So when you have that much confluence, that is something that is, to borrow another term from my friend to the right there, distinctly different. Look at 88.20s here. Did I hallucinate this, or was this? Okay, so yeah, I guess it's 89. Wow, okay. Yeah, sorry, it is 88.30s. But yeah, there's, at the time, that was kind of a level here in the daily chart, so I don't know. But that's what I have here. I already took out half the position. I'm planning on adding to this as we chop and churn. And I'm also trying to add a little bit less because I think it was a bit too aggressive with the sizing on IWM and Shopify. Shopify exited accordingly. But, as we look at this market, the one really important thing to remember is in the stock market system, traders are represented by two separate equally important groups: bulls that want the market to go higher and bears that want to watch the world burn. These are their stories. Yeah, I just had to do that. What are you looking at today, Sharif?
I'm long the future, but I just need you to hold on for a sec because I got to set up for the ad read. Yeah.
Okay, so so that weird Law and Order reference aside, definitely, guys, make sure to vote for whatever stocks you're looking at. ! Join, space, $, whatever ticker you're interested in. Maybe it's Disney, maybe it is IWM, maybe it's AMD, maybe it's Palantir, maybe it's UM. Am I looking at my side charts? You'll never know. Yes, I am. So definitely get involved, whatever ticker you're looking at, to make sure that you get your voice heard. Paradox saying well put, I guess in reference to the Law and Order reference. Yeah, I mean, it works, right? We've got two separate equally important groups, the bears and the bulls. Sometimes things have confluence in the world. But you know what also is worth noting always is our lovely sponsor. Thank you very much to Benzinga.
Where do they keep going, Adira? Oh my God. So, sorry, here we go. I got it, guys. I got it. I'm not that bad. All right. Are you tired of being late to the trade? Are you always playing catch up in this market? Are you missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Well, Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else and pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving, and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Are you ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? If so, visit benzinga.com/pro and get yourself that free 14-day trial. Good look there. Yeah, Benzinga Pro. They're good. All right, let's go over here. I'm in the future at the moment for a possible VWAP hold here on the NQ September contract. We got a bit of a VWAP hold, but I'm a little bit lofty, I guess, in where I want to take my first peek. Whether I'm looking at that nice area at around 50s. Let's see, we can cross. I'm waiting here at 82s, zigging and zagging, and got into 82s, but it didn't cross. So we're just gonna have to pack our patience. I'm also looking at some other names here. So Meta just absolutely fell off a cliff. Not sure what's going on. It did do a little bit of zig, a little bit of zag at 500, but it ended up giving way to those levels. So I'm going to keep my eye here on Meta. If we curl back into 500, it was stair-stepping down for that flat bottom break. Yeah, because that 500 was a level that we were interacting with there in the pre, specifically around that 850, 855. We tested it at 1040, bounced, got back into 503, but that was as good as we could do on that little bounce. And down we go again into that 497. Technically, the low on the day is 495.75. So we'll see if we can continue to, sadly here, move down. I'm going to be looking for something possibly off that $500 level. Yeah, so I'm still waiting here either to get stopped out at on the future or to get printed. Sadly, I was in the money nicely, but wasn't able to take profits there as it did not cross. So keeping my eye on these names. Let's see what else is going on over here. Apple, obviously, to me, it's looking like this is an interesting area to start looking short. I got the fact that, it's holding the 10 exponential. It only got to VWAP a couple of times over here at 1015 and 1020. But now it's really, putting in that rounded top kind of thing. Last time we got this rounded top, we had a VWAP retracement. So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be looking to take a bounce, a long trade off that 213 area at the 10 exponential. I'd rather it give way and then either go long at VWAP or look for a 20 exponential retracement. We'll see which one comes first, but yeah, looking for something here on the dead one Apple to see whether we can take something maybe back down or to take it to the high side if it holds that level. Still zigging and zagging here on the TQQs. I always keep coming in 1 penny from getting filled. I'm just too stubborn to adjust my order, so we're just gonna let that go and come what may there.
Yeah, come what may, I got to add into Disney there at 57s, which was a level, 58s, the average is 57. Does that make sense? No. Anyways, I added at that level, it was 58 or 57. It's a penny difference because that was a level I noticed we were kind of having a bit of a moment with when I was watching the book. So I added there, we came back, then we dropped. I got out 60% of the new position there. I guess the remaining position because I've added and subtracted at 88.35s. Am I willing to add again? You bet I am. What I want to see, and I don't know if this is always going to manifest. Sometimes things don't manifest perfectly. The other times here, what I've seen is a dip below the 9 EMA with the exception of this first entry because I was waiting for the move below the 9 EMA. But I've seen we get a wick kind of up or into the 9 EMA, then we push lower. That's been a good level for entry. Based on what I've seen in the book, I think if we get back to 39s and reject, that would be an area at which I would be comfortable adding. Let's see what happens here, though. And I've also found looking at multi-time frame charts, which is, again, something I've tried to do more lately, also has been helping with regards to these Disney entries. I see this topping tail candle. I see, like, okay, are we struggling? Are we pushing lower? And I'm interested. Like I said, that Disney 88.20 to 88.30 level is a level I'm very cognizant of. So if we struggle here for too long, I might take the remaining 40% of this position just out now. That would be the end of this. But that being said, I don't know if the movie is over yet for the House of Mouse. I want to make this trade. Forget about a utopia. I want this to be Zootopic. I want to have that much fun here in this trade. Shout out to Zootopia, my favorite Disney movie. And I want to see what we do here on this Disney because I do think that the House of Mouse can give you a little bit more cheese. We had the same thought there in this market. What's wrong with NVIDIA? What's changed, says Lumiere. Yeah, I think. Okay, Disney, let's see what you do here in 4 days. I'm going to let this pull up this NVIDIA here. NVIDIA is definitely, I think, just kind of we kind of pull back in all of the futures. Futures actually kind of rangy, which I need to keep an eye on. Apple a little rounded top. Tesla having a bit of a fight here below 199. So for me, NVIDIA kind of mirrors a lot of these other Mag 7 names. I'm going to be honest with you. Like if I pull up Apple, same kind of idea. Oh, Apple, if you break below the 90 MA, I shall short you.
That's what
and
I'm
it will
saying.
be violent and beautiful. That was aggressive. Google also, though, like we're seeing a little bit of rounded top action across the board is what I'm trying to say, right, Lumiere? So I don't think it's exclusive to NVIDIA necessarily. That is my take. Yeah, so shout out to Paradox there. Yeah, I've been saying multiple time frames lately because I found that really helped me with my entries yesterday with regards to Palantir. I had the level I liked, but I waited because I didn't see confirmation. Then when that level came back and I did, I was able to short it successfully. So I do think sometimes you want to have patience, as I know Bears vs. Bulls says sometimes in the chat, like PAY. Also, we had someone mentioning the double top and the SPY in the 5 minute. I don't disagree, but we have higher lows here as well right now, right? We're bouncing off the 529. I watched that last 529 bounce. Violent, aggressive, beautiful if you're a bull. So I want to see what happens here. I'm willing to take some SPY scalps, but one of the things I'm working on is shorter scalps, less, I guess, repeated scalps. And the word I used on my playbook was high probability scalps. So scalps and levels I really like, multiple time frame confirmation, all that jazz. I had a brief one in Tesla before we started the show here. I basically got involved because I saw that 198, 70s hold on the 5 minute and the 1 minute. We broke below 70s, I got out, so I was risking like 18 pennies. Didn't work out, happy I tried it. Very excited to continue to learn and grow as a trader. Disney, you're at 40s. If you want to reject, I'm going to add another ticket there to enter that theme park. How are you doing?
Right. I'm still in the future. At this level, we'll see kind of what we get. I'm not really seeing anything I like on the Mag 7. So like I did last week, if I don't really like anything on the Mag 7, I'm just going to turn it off and look at something different. Because I feel like maybe my reads today, I haven't taken any bad trades or anything on the Mag 7. I just feel like maybe I don't have the right read on them because I keep looking for different things to happen. None of them are really happening. So if that's the case, that's all right. Let's look at some other names. So these are the names that I mentioned with respect to, the names that are moving. And Upstart's just not stopping here. I mean, it's found a bit of a top at 35, not a whole lot to talk about, but you can see there, it's just not even coming into the 10 on the 5, the 10 exponential on the 5. It just keeps going and going and going. So strong is UPST. I mean, if we get something at 34s, maybe I can get something off the 10 exponential here for the first time on the day. Rivian, also important here, topping tail into that 1470, zigging and zagging, but this feels like more of a range on Rivian than really anything else. So we'll see what's going on there. Airbnb, also an important one today. I don't know why it's not updating. ABNB, let's put that on there. There we go. Updating back into that 114 and change. It did dip into that 20 exponential super quick, found support there, and then right back into that fifth of a dollar we go. So interesting look. All right, doing well here on the future. Let's see if we can print. We're about almost 20 pennies in the money there, so we'll take the 20 penny winner and we'll get at a dodge. Pleased with this trade. But
for you.
Thank you. Let's see if we can get a nice little move back up here on the future. I don't mind adding to this position again if we can continue the directional move up. We're right back above VWAP and we're above that 50-point level on the NQ September contract. Still well, though, below that 500-point level. We had a whole lot of resistance at that 18,550 area. Look at the umpteen amount of topping tail candles that we got in and around this area. I think this is what O was talking about when he said, you know, it looks like we may be coming down to 18.5 because we were doing the wick shimmy at an area where, 50-point level, we don't, often do the wick shimmy at the 50-point level like we do at the 1 and the 100-point level. But I'm trying to see if there's an area of previous resistance in and around this area from the last few days. Not really. So interesting look, double top, keep that in mind, possibly here, especially if we give way to the middle part of the M. Let's just say possibly an 18.425 break. I know the wicks go south of that, almost into 18.4, but if we're to give way, then that's a gnarly looking double top. And quite frankly, I think we chop and churn until the election. So I don't think we get that nice direction that we all got maybe in June and half of July, not the entire July. So that's my look there. What are you guys looking at? Squeeze time, says Kenny G. He's long now. Well, I just took the long on the future, but I'm still a little uncertain as to how we trade. I liked this level on Meta. I didn't take it. Meta tanked off 510 on the high of the day and dipped down into 494, which was yesterday's closing print. And then the gnarly looking bottoming tail hammer candle right off that 494 yesterday's closing print, today's support level, at least for now. Let's see if it can curl back up. But if it does work its way up, I'm very interested in a 500 short on Meta. You're not going to see me with a resting order there, but I'm definitely going to be all eyes if we weasel our way back into 500 a day.
Yeah, I have the House of Mouse is still chopping around here. I think we are making, and I say I think because I'm just kind of waiting to see what we do here. I have a sneaking suspicion there are going to be some slightly higher lows here if we can't decisively, viciously break below the 88.30. Or, like I said, 88.30, a huge level for me on Disney. The last time we broke below this, we got to like 88.29s and broke back up. The time before that, though, we got to 20s. We got to like 21. 21 did something for Disney, and then we bounced. I also have to talk about Shopify because I'm involved in Shopify. I have some qualms, but we talk a lot about balance of the evidence, and for me, the balance of the evidence says a long. And I'm aware that could be a bit of an odd decision, so I want to talk about it. So if you look at this 5-minute, this looks really bearish. I fully acknowledge the 5-minute chart for Spotify looks bearish as heck. Ooh. I took a store on it for that reason. But look at some wider time frames. Look at the Shopify here, 10 minutes still, like you're like, okay, it could be a little bearish, right? Bottoming tail candle, mind you, bouncing off VWAP, trying to push this little head above the 90 MA. Then we get to 15. We're above VWAP in the 90 MA, bottoming tail candle. Look at the 30. The 30, this is gorgeous. So the more time frame confirmation I see, the more I'm like, I think it's a long. I was ready to go short because we were so idle at that 66.30 level I was using as a stop for my short. But then I said, Adara, I actually think this is a long. Don't go full ham with the whole position like you did in the last Shopify trade. Start to build a position here. Right now, we're a few pennies in the money. Profit taker, I'm going to see what we do here at 67s. If we come back after 67s to bounce at 66.60s, I'm definitely okay with adding there at that combination of sixes. Disney breaking back lower. Okay, we're going to get that beak water ready again. Let's do 25s. Oh, you want to break even lower, Disney? I'm okay with that. Well, living your life. So we're going to take out 40% of the position there at 25s. Should we get back there, Disney, you're like a cent away. Happy with how the Shopify long works. The point I'm trying to make is this multi-time frame confirmation, yes, I'm going to keep waxing poetic, has been really helpful in helping me kind of get extra, whatever confirmation or confluence you can get your trades to make sure you are trading with the balance of the evidence. But you know another way to get a balance of evidence, certain times of the day, only around 2 p.m. is if you go into that chat. You knew what I was getting at. Exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever tickers your fancy. Get in that chat. Let us know how you feel about whatever name. And, you know, we'll have the big kahunas, Obi and Neil, go and like look at those tickers for you. Shopify still finding some resistance here at the 90 MA, but I'm not scared. I'm giving this till about 25s, which is the bottom of that range here. And if we bounce off 25s, I might add a bit. I'm trying to be a little bit more nimble. Disney breaking below 88.20. There's a smile on my face. Also, someone was asking about Robinhood earnings ETA. I was seeing 405 for all the earnings today in terms of the expected times of a rival. Robinhood right now is also the stonks stock. That is their pick. Robinhood bouncing off that VWAP, which is also kind of previous resistance here. What is the 1742? Not a pushback moment for me. I'm already very busy with my 2 children, but I think this Robinhood is an interesting look if you're looking for another arrow in your trading quiver today. Robinhood, pun intended.
Get it.
So let's see how that goes. I don't think I'll be getting it, but I appreciate it to anyone who does want to get it. Shopify pushing higher here. Please just punch. Let's see how this goes. Really, again, just trying to, I think the biggest thing for me has just been trying to find more little pieces of edge, more ways to find what you do and try to build on that. So I like scalping. Let's use the book and some confirmation for some of these longer term trades. Let's see how this goes. How are you doing?
Love it. I've been trying to get into Upstart. It just won't let me in. This thing is a rocket ship to the high side, guys. 35.60, no problem. I set up a dip trade at 35.15. I was like 5 or 6 pennies from getting filled. The spread is not that wide. It's a few pennies. I just didn't want to chase this. I wanted to take it for a nice 35 retest. It's not giving me that, guys. It's just flying. So, yeah, we're going to have to figure out a different way to weasel into this trade, but it's very strong right now. I'm also looking at Amazon. at this level because we're at VWAP on Amazon. Also, that 166 defend, I do happen to like, even though it's a bunch of lower lows, with the future is above that volume weighted average price. It's looking to work its way back, possibly into that 18.5. There we go. Let's see if we can get into the Zon. The Zon won't let us in, just like Upstart won't let us in. Nothing's letting us in today. Yeah, it's going without me here. There we go. Now we're filled on Amazon, so we have to put the out for this one. It's going to go right here, so then we're going to go like that. There we go. So we're long at 20s. Let's see if we can hold this general area. We're above VWAP right now, but I am a little bit suspicious of the possible longs. Let's just set up our beak wetters, possibly over here, so we can set up everything. Stops in place. Oh, Amazon just came down aggressively into that 166 area. Let's see if it holds on to 166 generally or it gives way. All right, we're going to defend that level there. Let's see exactly what we do at 166. Whether or not we break a whole lot of chop and churn at this moment over here as the future topping tails. Oh, this might be trouble for my position. Topping tail on the future, and down we go into 1850, but then up we go right. Wow, this is nuts. Again, so a lot of volatility, zigging and zagging every which way. Right now is the future. Let's see if we can hold on to this position without getting stopped out at the moment. But we're in the money just barely, though. Let's see if we can work up into 30s. I'm unsure exactly how this futures trade or these Mag 7 names resolve because of all the candles of indecision that are happening at the moment. We're holding on to this area. I have to adjust my stop to take into account the new size. Oh, looks like we're going to get stopped out here as we dip back into 166 again. Or generally, that area as the future does take a bit of a turn. So here we go. We're going to get stopped out there. All good. We'll look to see if we can get back in. I had to take that trade because Amazon was defending the volume weighted average price multiple times. I guess just the time that I get in, no way, no how. So this one breaks through 166. If it reclaims it on a closing basis, I will have no problems getting back into Amazon at this level. But right now, I feel like I don't have a read on these Mag 7 names as we basically are in this no man's land here on the future at this 18,450, a little bit above, a little bit below. So it's just time to look at the more directional names. And that there's no more directional than UPST. Just couldn't get into the Upstart house over there as it would not allow me in. And now it's almost at $36. A lot of strength, but I have to go on for a little bit because Fabian is away from his desk. So let's see if we can look back here at UPST. That order is still waiting at 35.15, but still obviously hasn't triggered. Upstart not allowing anybody, well, no, not anybody, for me to get in. I can't weasel my way into this trade. Let's have a look at what the future's doing over here on the side. Yeah, as you can see, zigging and zagging, the better part of now half an hour worth of chop in and around the same area on the TQQQs. That's 57 2/3 generally in that area. But Upstart continues to go to the high side as I see him on my side chart over here, almost at $36 now. And the spread, very reasonable. It's time to take off this dip trade as, yeah, that's no longer valid. Near that 35 is at least not the way that it's setting up right now, Adair.
Yeah, so Disney, we're about flat on this now. I added back at 40s. I'm not leaving this until, I've been watching to see what we do at 50s, right? My initial stop for this was about, I think 80s. Clearly, we had to kind of move that down because we've dropped lower, and I don't want to risk that much as of where we are now. I'm finding, though, potentially a bit of a bounce here at 88.30s, which was, like I said, my biggest level in Disney for the day. We are still below the 90 EMA in some of these wider time frames. Again, continuing to check the wider time frames for confirmation here. I'm going to stay in this for now, but because I don't have any reason to leave this, but I am being cognizant of our inability to break back below 88.30s. You know what? I was initially going to save the rest. We're going to take out half if we get to 88.31s, and then we're going to save a piece for the dream lower. I'm not going to be adding again, unless I see a bit more of a continued downtrend. But Shopify, I took out 2/3 of the position here at 75s or 72s. The reason I didn't, I know I said I was initially going to wait till 77s, but the market got a bit violent. I said, Adara, take out some. Then if you want to add when you get that 60s bounce, which we are, then you can. And you know what? I actually decided I do want to add at that 60s bounce. So 61, adding the same amount of the position that I took out. So it's not a larger position than the one we had to begin with. Still medium sized. I don't love what Disney's doing here as we get back into 50s. Let's see if we can continue to kind of push lower here. Disney, I think, definitely doing a little bit of a curly Q. if we get back above 50s, I'm getting out of Disney. But I will say of the two right now, somehow Shopify is the cart that I'm more comfortable pushing. I think they've been a little bit more subdued for me as of right now. Happy with what Disney did. Happy I took some profits earlier. And you know what? As the tides change, you get out. You get out of the boat. So good time there. I'm willing to actually add to this as a long, given the support I now see at 88.30, which, like I said, was my level. NVIDIA in the red, says Vancouver Isle guy. Yeah, NVIDIA, NVIDIA almost in the red here. Probably was like when the message happened, which is not when I saw the message. Yeah, NVIDIA breaking below that. NVIDIA breaking below the support area of 104.50s. That was a level I actually liked yesterday. So if it wants to give me a little retest action, I might short that. Shopify, though, we are in Lamula in Shopify. I did want to add to this at 60s. Don't think I'm going to get that add. I should have had that order waiting, but it's all good there, baby. Like I said, I still like that 67 level. If we rejected 67s, that might be where I have to pull the brakes. But if not, I'm interested in pushing this higher. Sorry, totally. I guess I missed that one.
Yeah, no worries. Do you want a chance to win $1,000 every day? Stonks.com is giving out $1,000 daily, and entering is super easy. Predict the stock price after an earnings report. Today, we're looking at Meta. All it takes is 30 seconds to join.
We're looking at Robinhood.
Right? Yeah, we're looking at Robinhood. I don't know why it says Meta there. Maybe we didn't update it. Today, we're looking at Robinhood. All it takes is 30 seconds to join. Just go to stonks.com, sign up, and hit the Make Prediction button. I like that. That's very easy. And you could potentially win $1,000. It's that easy. Each day, you get one free ticket to predict. You want more chances? Share the referral link and get 5 extra tickets for each sign up. So go to stonks.com, don't miss out, and good luck. Fabian, I don't think the position board is right because I'm in a trade right now, Fabian, and it's not showing up on the position board. I am in ADTX looking to take this bad boy off the volume weighted average price. We're going to give it a couple of pennies here to do its thing. We're about 2 pennies out of the money right now, but it is at VWAP. And, it's zigged and zagged, I guess, a little bit with VWAP here on the day. But right now I thought maybe, hey, let's give this one the old community college try and try our hand at this one since we're not really having a whole lot of success with these Mag 7 names as they zig and zag. So we're in the small cap gapper right now. This name, let me give you the deets on it. It's done 90.5 million shares on the day. The market cap is 3 1/3 million, so it's really small. The float is 1.95 million shares, and I didn't load up trade ideas. Totally forgot that. So give me a second here as we load up that, and I'll give you the short float on it because that's awfully important, especially for these small cap gappers, which could absolutely become parabolic. So let's bring down trade ideas over here. Shout out the NOS boss and his crew, ADTX, and oh, I typed it wrong. ADTX, Sharif. ADTX. There we go. 8.95%. So almost 9% of that 1.9 million share float is shorted. So not a bad look there, especially for a small cap gapper. We'll see if we can get a bit of a short squeeze, maybe headed to the high side here, looking to wet my beak at around that $0.75 if it will make its way up there. Okay, Upstart is coming down now aggressively for the first time on the day. I see it coming into 35. The 10 exponential on my 5-minute chart is at 34 3/4. Let's see if it holds up, number one, at 35. The answer to that is no, because it just broke it. Let's see now if it holds up at the 10 exponential. Because this will be an interesting area as well. So here we go. We're zigging and zagging. We're at the 10 exponential. We're a little bit below the whole dollar at the moment. Let's see if we can get a bit of a bounce at this area. I'm going to sit over here. Let's see. We zig and zag. The spread's opening up a little bit, guys. So let's see if we can hold up at this level. Let's go long and give it to, just dip down aggressively. We're long. We're going to have to get out if this dips down even more. Right here.
Tesla just
flew. Yeah, go ahead, because I have to cover this.
Yeah, sorry, Tesla dropped here. I got out of my Shopify because basically ended up being flat in the trade because maybe I shouldn't have added there, should have gotten everything out. We got into that 50s area. I ended up getting out here. If we come back and break below that VWAP, I'm going to try the short again on this SHOP. Just, things work out. You got to switch up the style. If they hate, let them hate. Watch the money pile up. No money is piling up for me right now. But yeah, like I said, happy with Disney, happy with Shopify. Should have arguably wrote less trades for a bit shorter period of time. Now Disney's back down, so all good there. Airbnb, though, below that 90 MA, I actually really like. So if we come back to retest that 114, I'm very interested in that short. Palantir dipping below the 90 MA. There are quite a few stocks that look like they want to get a little bit weaker here that I would love to take to the downside if they'll have me. So let me know, guys. I will short you with pleasure. How are you doing?
Oh, that was quick, Adair.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know. I saw a thumbs up, so I didn't know. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I can also keep talking. I can definitely keep doing that. You guys know I can. Charlie Taft saying Tesla through the 200 MA short. Yeah, yeah, honestly, my only level for Tesla would be my level I've had all day in Tesla, which is roughly mid 198s. That would be the look there. Airbnb, let's see if you come back to that 114 and retest. Shopify, like I said, also getting close to my level. VWAP breakdown, that's a short for me here too. AMD below, wow, okay, everything's coming into levels that I like, which is a little bit hard. What's a girl to do? Short the market, no, I'm joking. But let's see what we do here though. If I see any kind of, I wanna wait for levels that make sense. Like if I see any whole dollar retest here for SPY, for the TQs, for anything like that, I wanna get involved. AMD to me, like Airbnb, they're two of the clearest in that they had like clear levels that were support that they've broken down from with lower highs. For AMD, it's clearly this 133, or I guess not clearly, but for me, it's 133.70. For Airbnb, it was gonna be about 114. So we'll have to see. I don't know if I'm gonna get those levels, and maybe I should be risking into those levels, but we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. I do not wanna rush into any trades, even as the market drops. SPY, though, that could be an interesting little scalp, but I heard someone be very excited. I want to hear about Upstart.
So the price, I guess, on the position board is wrong. It's not showing my ADTX trade, and it has me not in this right position. I'm long at 60s right now, so we're almost $1 in the money, 50 pennies in the money. Sorry, I'll get my math right. Let's see if Upstart will go here. We're at 20s. Let's go, Upstart. Upstart starting up its engines, baby. Let's go to the high side, Mr. Upstart. We're waiting at 36s. Let's go. So sorry about the position board, guys. I'm not sure what's going on there. I've got taken out two beak wetters here. Still got a third. Possibly looking for that. Let's go to the third of $1. What's life without Whimsy Adara? We're gonna put it at the third of $1 there, but it's zigging and zagging, and down it goes back into 35. Let's see if it can hold that 35. And then move back into that third of $1 again. Right now, it's, a little bit of indecision. Now, here's what I'm seeing on the 5-minute look, and this is what had me getting in quite aggressively. The first time on the day that we actually touched the 10 exponential on the 5-minute chart. We hadn't touched it since basically 9:45. So I was like, okay, I was a little unsure whether or not we would hold up at the 10 exponential or we would do a 20 exponential retracement because, well, it was quite a move up. And so when you get extended like that, and here we go, we're moving to the downside again. So if we break 60s, that's the end of my trade. I'm not going to let any part of this trade go against me, but we will look, and I mean me, I'll be looking to get possibly in at the 20 exponential. And that if we break down decidedly below the 10 and the 20, as I look on my SAR charts at 33 3/4. So that's a bit of a ways down. So you're going to ask me, Sharif, well, why don't you short it into 33 3/4 if you think it's going to weasel down there? Well, I don't know if it's going to weasel down there. It could be in no man's land. And if it does, well, then, that's going to cause problems for me. So I'd rather get it specifically off a level that I like to execute my plan rather than, trying to freestyle. So we'll see if we can get some more on this. No, I am not short Upstart. I am long Upstart at 34.68. So, yeah, I know. Sorry, Fabian. But yeah, thank you for trying. I know you're on your own today, brother. So no worries. I can update people on my positions. But yeah, the position is wrong, guys. I am not short Upstart. Your position is right?
That is correct. That's the average, yeah.
Okay.
I have two, yeah.
Yeah. So I apologize about that position board, guys, but we'll hopefully be able to rectify that soon here, Adair.
Yeah, to clarify, that position is correct. So I am roughly flat on Shopify right now. Yes, I am targeting the Shopify, I don't know. I got short this game. I wanted the 30s breakdown, wasn't fast enough for that. Then I tried to take a quick little SPY scalp there, wasn't fast enough for that either. But then Shopify comes up to that 66, bounces, and makes lower highs. So we had that 66.10. I decided to get half the position that you want there, add the rest at 66.21s. Why did I choose 21s? You might know. It's a little cheeky there. 21 did do something for me here. But yeah, in all seriousness, though, it was kind of the bottom of this range, which is the other reason I like this level. If we get into like mid 40s here, that's when things are going to get a bit dicey. I think, this one could be changing a tide. We did have a really strong range, but also we are looking a bit weaker here in that multi-time frame convert. Oh, well, you can't really see because of all my fills. But the point is, there have certainly, I got into the long even when that looked dicey because that's the time that was, I checked the confirmation, even though we were looking a little bit weaker in the 5, we had some other confluence at other levels, making this maybe look like a long. Here, though, I would say the confirmation for the long is a lot less severe, which is why I was willing to take this position. We'll see if it works out
68.
currently. Pardon?
Sorry, I'm just talking to Fabian.
Oh, sorry. We're like 15 pennies out of the money here. Someone just pumped his fist and is calling Upstart a punk, I'm pretty sure, under his breath. I want to hear about that. Shopify just kind of chopifying over here right now. Also, I heard Obi stealing my chip chop phrase. I just want to clarify. As someone who started saying chip chop, I'm happy that phrase is being more widely used. So,
Obi, explain yourself here over here.
He doesn't have to explain himself.
You're using Adara's chip chop?
The chip top.
What's going on
the chip
over
top
here,
in the
Obi?
market.
I know.
That's true.
That's true. Oh. I like that. Yes.
No, I was just saying I enjoyed that. I was like, oh, someone else is using it now because I use it a lot. So I overheard that this morning and I was like, ooh.
She didn't have a problem with it.
Too.
I'm just trying to create a problem, brother.
You're okay. I feel like now Obi's trying to create a problem. I apologize. I did not mean to upset Obi there. Hey, Shopify getting away from me as I started that fight for no reason. So that's my fault. Let's see if we can get out of this shop. Come on, shop. Let's get out here. I want to leave this shop. I want to cash out, buy my items, and leave that cart. Got out there, not pleased as punch with that trade. But you know what's great about the market is, and I can't believe we're going to use this phrase after I just talked about phrase stealing, but where's the next trade?
Oh, no, you didn't, Adara.
Obi won that battle. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I printed up a storm here on Upstart. Very happy with this trade here on UPST. And look, I don't usually DCA unplanned DCAs. This was an unplanned DCA. The reason I wanted to defend it is because it was just up so aggressively. If there was going to be a retracement, you had to expect that there were going to be breaches of the level. The level that I specifically was looking at not breaching was a $0.75. I did add below that at 65s, but hey, call me crazy. I was able to wet my beak there for the last little beak wetter at high 30, so very happy with that. But it continues to move up, so I am upset about that, obviously. And Adara and I joke all the time on the show, and I'm sure a lot of other traders say this as well. You're always displeased as a trader. You either didn't have enough size, you either didn't get a great entry price or as good of an entry price as you wanted, or your out was not the top wig. So, yeah, always displeased, but always trying to be grateful at the same time. So let's see what, let's see what Upstart do. Guys, we're knocking on the door of 50% here on Upstart. Like, that's crazy to me. This is not a small cap gapper. Upstart is a multi-billion-dollar company. Let's give the deets. 3.11 billion. I stand corrected. So it's not multi, but 25.5 million shares traded on the day. What is the short float? It's a higher short float, isn't it, on Upstart? It's like a firm
It's like
style.
almost 30%.
Yeah, you're right. I remember something like that. Adara's bang on. 33.34% of this monster is short, and the float, let me give you the deets on the float. It's not huge for a multi-billion-dollar company. 76 million shares, of which over 33% is shorted. So kind of explains what's going on here. I'm not sure where everyone was short, but this looks like a gnarly squeeze. I mean, like nary a red candle. I mean, we can count them on one hand here on the 5-minute chart since the opening bell. You had a couple in here, and I wouldn't even call these red candles. These are candles of indecision. This is the big boy red candle, and then you've got a red to green. It momentarily dropped a little bit to be expected because this thing from yesterday, yeah, we're up 50% from the closing print from yesterday. Unbelievable. Great day for whoever is trading this specific name. As it continues to go up, guys. So UPSD headed to the high side. Let's bring in the side chart, see what else is going on over here. We've got the earnings names. That's why I've got all these different non-small cap gappers on the side chart over here. Oh, I did not notice this. Crowd went to the bathroom. Let's put it that way, okay? Yeah, it dropped $10 since the open. So it's still positive on the day, but barely. I'm going to be looking for a possible 232 touch, possibly 231 and 2/3, a half, something like that. That is yesterday's closing print. So I was looking for it to possibly come down there, but right now it looks like it's going to defend that $233 level. Still below the 10 exponential. So if you're looking short, you know, I don't think your trade is completely wrong at the moment. There is some support or some resistance to jive with that 10 exponential at 235 and 2/3. Why? It's a bottom area, it's a pre-market consolidation area low. Generally, that 235, we held that 235 in the pre-market. Again, pre-market levels have to be looked at with a healthy degree of suspicion, but if it conflates with other indicators, specifically in this case, the 10 exponential, I'll be interested in it there.
Yeah, so right now I was actually interested in a few names. Had that Shopify loss, brushed it off, said a phrase that you don't know. I'm sorry, I know we're joking about phrase stealing, but it's all good. It's like we all borrow each other's phrases. I was just honestly happy that the chip chop was catching on. That's all it was. But Disney here, I got back in the short because I noticed that moved down in the market. All the names that were generally longs went back to being longs. And Disney, which was a nice little short that I was kind of hanging out with, went back to doing that. So I got involved. Slightly aggressive position size, like it was within reason here. Got involved just above 88.30s. The plan is to get out it was a third of this position here. If we get to 88.10s, I think that might be a little like aggressive / maybe unrealistic of a profit target, just given the drips we've had here, and maybe wait till later for that. But let's see if we can get 19s there. I'd be pleased, like 13 pennies in the money with the first to the third of that position. I'm just checking my confirmation on multiple time frames. We're below the 90 MA. I'm happy with that. I'm giving this to like near 50s here. I'm just kind of watching where we had those wicks. It's like this 49 area, so I'll watch what we do at that point. I also took a quick SPY scalp short that I'm happy with, so we'll talk about that here as well. So I'll watch that whole dollar level, 528. We broke below, got involved. Could have gotten out of 70s, could have gotten more. I think I was taking like 10, 12 pennies on this, so a small scalp, but it's just about repetition. It's about getting in those reps and working at it. I saw someone say NVIDIA long. I definitely think I'm picking up what you're putting down here. I'll pull up NVIDIA so that people can see what's happening here. Oh, wow. Okay, so I was just seeing like all these wicks here, and we're trying to push higher off this base of 103.50. But we're getting into that 104.50 area, which is an area that was interesting yesterday. It would also be in previous support, and then also we're getting into the 90 MA. I would wait to see what we do at 104.50 for all of those reasons. Disney pushing higher. Okay, Disney, sure, House of Mouse, do your thing. EWM I was looking at as well, because EWM has been a bit of a short the pops. I tried to long this name earlier at my own peril because I was, in all honesty, way too tired to be managing that trade the way it is, especially with the size I was using. But look at this. We have pretty clean, actually, with the exception of some wicks, shorting the pops here on IWM. Nice. I like that 70s area. If I risk this into 80s with like a size that makes sense, I can live with that. So we're going to get involved here, 65s. We're going to take a way less aggressive position. And we'll wait and see here. We'll wait and see what we do with the that level 90 MA. There was another one I saw someone mentioning that I was like, I wanted to look at here, and I don't remember what it was. But there was, if I see that, I will remember what happened here. There's been quite a few things here in this market, though, to keep an eye on. If there's any stocks you're looking at, bang, get in the chat and go !, Dwayne Space, $, whatever tickers are fancy, because we want to see what tickers you guys have been looking at, and will be gone over by Obi and Neil. And right now I'm going to get into EWM because we had a nice little breakdown there. If we can get 62s, I would be very happy, and I would be risking here into 74. So risking about 12 pennies. I would want, honestly, minimum here, probably a lower low. So definitely trying to make some moolah here. Let's see what moolah is made, if any. But what are you looking at over here?
I just took a nice fill on ADTX at 175. Guys, I'm sorry it's not showing up on the position board, but I've been long ADTX at $1.70 since 11:41. So the better part of 20 minutes. I wet my beak at 75s. I'm looking for the next beak wetter, ideally at 80s. Reason being, not because it's a 10 penny level, but we obviously had a price action resistance there when we dipped into that mid 70s area on our way back into 80. We rejected. So I'm looking possibly here. Here comes 77s. Let's go. 76s now on the ask. Let's go, Mr. ADTX over here. I'd like to print. So we'll see if this can weasel its way up. It's a 2 penny spread on $1 name. Do better, ADTX. Here comes 77s. There is size here at 78s larger than the size at 79 and 80s from what I can glean, but we never really know what kind of size there's actually going to be at that level until we get there, because oftentimes things are hidden, iceberg orders, hidden orders. Maybe we'll do an entire week on that, but that's
cool.
Yeah, that would be. That's basically a sell order or a buy order that's hidden from the market. You can only see part of it, hence the term iceberg. Did you hear about that 400-meter high iceberg that's spinning off the coast of Antarctica? Adara, 400 meters. That is the observation deck of the CN Tower.
No.
That's how high this thing is. It's insane. It's insane. It's like, anyway.
How does ice not, like, that's crazy. It doesn't even, maybe I don't get
I'm not even
science,
making
but
it
I'm
up.
like, how is it not melting? I believe you.
Yeah, because it's in the Antarctic. It's in the Antarctic Ocean, so it's still, you know, in that region. But yeah, it's insane. And it's spinning. Apparently it's a phenomenon. But somebody's spinning up a storm over here. What's going on over here?
Thank you. Yeah, I got my IWM position. I don't love the fill on this. And one thing I've noticed too, I feel like maybe I think hopefully the sign of progress is I feel like I'm way harder on the trades that go well than I am the trades that don't go well, because you want to know how you could have done better. IWM, my entry point was a little chasey. I should have waited to get 65s instead. I got 57s because I wasn't sure if I was going to get back into 60s. But we stayed below 70s, so I was all good with that. I got out half of the position here at 35s because that was kind of near that, just below that previous area of support, so I wanted to be cleared there. Disney, though, I also am printing on, I'm happy to say. Took out a third of the position there at 19s. I said I want to see what we do at 88s, so let's see what we do at 88s here. If we crack below 88s, I'd be pleased as punch. We're going to take out another, will now be half of the remaining position here at 07s, because that was a little area here. And then we're going to save a piece for the dream. If we come back to 20s and reject, I'm going to add to the position here. I'm trying to be a little bit more aggressive, trying to get involved, because honestly, the thing is, if you don't continue to progress, you're not gonna grow. That's why I hit my P&L, because I want to be focusing instead of profit on progress and learning. And then hopefully then the P&L will be reflecting on my market, not my, wow, word. English, bless you.
Thank you.
But right now, yeah, IWM still low here. We are like 40 pennies in the money in IWM. Disney trying to bounce here off 10s for a reason, so let's get a little bit lower, Mouse House. Just scalp it out, keep tight stops. You're good. Short some Q while you're at it, says Jay Lee. Yeah, the TQs, I find if I'm going to take a market short, it's going to be the SPY. I just feel like I'm more comfortable trading the SPY, but thank you very much for your support. Hope you're printing up a storm there. SPY, speaking of which, way lower here. So many things to look at in this market. Got out another part of this Disney position. I'm going to save a piece for the dream. IWM, I'm more than 50 pennies in the money here, so we might scalp that out if we bounce off 205s. Please just punch. Not a great start to the day, but the great thing too is if you have a trade that works, you can get lower as we push near low of days here on this EUM.
Tanking, Adara.
Oh my gosh, we are falling here in this market. I'm going to check to see if there's any news on this.
Yeah, do your thing. You want me to take over?
Yes, please. Yeah,
the market is absolutely flushing, guys. We just dropped into 18.3. We're 258 points off the top. 18.558 HOD. We just touched 18.3, breached it, bouncing up now. It's a sell kind of day, or it looks like it's going to turn into right now. You have the likes of Apple at the volume weighted average price. Amazon just absolutely collapsed. Meta's been retracing since the open, essentially. The soft one looks like it might be on the way down to 400 again. Goggles is definitely knocking on the door of 160. It's 160.07 LOD, and 200 has come and gone on Tesla. We are down now into 196, and Nvidia, I don't know, man, if we keep flushing like this, we could see 100 again on Nvidia, maybe 102.76er right now on NVDA. I'm all eyes and whatever other sensory organs my body will allow to see whether or not we bounce off the volume weighted average price on Apple. 211.66 right now is where my VWAP is showing up, but you're not going to see me just jump in willy-nilly like this. I want to see proof that it's going to hold up at this level, and the way we just tanked off that breach of 18.4. Look at this. So we breached VWAP. We were zigging and zagging. I was in a futures trade around here. Then I said to you guys, I don't have a read on the market. And I didn't, because I didn't anticipate this at all. I thought we would zig and zag. And then we dropped aggressively, breached 18.4, reclaimed it, barely, and then really dropped and breached 18.4 again, and then breached 18.3, and we're still on the way down. I don't know if it's time to set up short on this bad boy, or do we hold up at 18.3? I never really know until it's manifested. So we're going to keep eyes on this one. Apple right back above the volume weighted average price again. Does it hold up? Or is this a dead cat bounce? It's still technically a higher low. The previous low took us into that 210.80. This low took us into 211.20, so about a 40 penny difference there on AAPL, but that means bupkis if it continues to trend down. Seeing a bit of support now coming in. I was able to wet my beak on this ADTX trade, but now I'm 2 pennies out of the money with very small size. I'm going to either allow this to come back into that 180, or if it breaches 165, that's going to be the end of the trade. But as I hear it, the Chilean nightmare letting me know that our friend Neil is ready with his lesson of the day.
Oh, ready for your lesson of the day here. I was kind of hoping Adair would throw to me so I could say, what up, blood? That's what's up. What up, blood? What up, triple OG, triple OG over here. Adair in the all red. Just saying, it is what it is. But you know what's interesting is I had something else in mind for the lesson of the day, and then Obi and I were talking about something, and I realized this has to be it. Every now and then when you're in a trade, you come to a price level or a moment in the market. Maybe the futures could get to a level, the stock could get to a certain price. Maybe you get to a moving average. Could be a trend line, but it's a decision point, right? And anytime you get to a decision point in a stock, you've got to ask yourself, what do you want to do? And the thing that we both said to each other in that moment was, and I've been doing this for years, imagine I wasn't in position in this stock. If I wasn't in position right now at this decision point and I was forced to put something on, what would I do? And if I'm in a long position and my answer is, if I was flat, I actually think I would short here, then at a bare minimum, I want to be covering some, if not all of the long. And I think vice versa works out to be true. There was a floor manager and a risk manager before I started. At the time when I started, he wore a lot of hats. He did some algo trading. He did some risk managing. And one of the things he used to do when he was training trainees, believe it or not, is he would punch them into position into the simulator. So you'd be sitting there as a trainee, and this is the thing he would do, is whatever stock you were trading, he'd just say, okay, you're in at this price now. Could be long, could be short. What are you going to do with it? And it was to force you to make a decision and make decisions by being engaged. So the reason I'm saying this is because of what happened to me on SMCI. Now, granted, it was how many times you have SMCI after earnings, pull this move, gap down, be SSR, short sell restricted, and be looking for a bounce. So yes, was I trying to get an SSR bounce plan at SMCI? Absolutely. So I was favoring along at the open. Did I catch that bottom here? Unfortunately, I did not get that wick of the low in the recovery. I missed that trade completely. I missed the higher low because I wasn't really looking for it there, was looking at there. And then at the point it made the trend, I'm like, okay, now I have a trade because I have a trend line that if it can, and I was bullish on it, so I'm not looking for the break, I'm looking for the hold of the trend line, wicks underneath, traps, reversions, break back out long through VWAP. I'm long, baby. Let's go. This is going to go right in, fit 34, got higher lows, higher highs the entire way through. This should see the mid 40s. At that point, I'm thinking I can risk $2 to make 10 on SMCI. Then a funny thing happened. It got right into this 538 lower high that had been put in on the way down to that trend break, and all of a sudden there was just different selling. Now I wasn't in these longs because I'd missed it. But the entire morning, I told you this, I was watching the stock the entire time on the way up, both times that I didn't have the long. And both times, it looked distinctly different in terms of the velocity that it was moving up with. It looked distinctly different where the offers were setting up. I was like, this is not the same. It's not the same explosion when it made a low as before. So I jumped out of the trade. Now, it didn't get to my target, and I had to adjust on the fly, because if I was flat and I saw that relatively, what would I want to do when I saw that? Something's different. This is bad earnings. It could turn. Now, I didn't go into the short. That's not the point of this. Obviously, when I was saying this, I think some people that were flat were saying they were getting into the short and looking for that trend down. It's not about that. It's about it gets to a key level, an important level, the first one, and you got to make a decision. I asked myself if I was flat, that would indicate to me it's not moving up as strongly as before. I think if I was forced into a position there, I'd be looking for a retracement short. And so I answered that question by just getting out of position. So every now and then you get to a key level, and look, that could have been 100% wrong and it goes to 545 or whatever, 550, and you look like an idiot. But you have to make a call. You get to a decision point, you just have to make a decision. Right, wrong, indifferent, whatever it might be, you make yourself a call. And the other name where that ended up being true is hilarious, because I was very sloppy with Intel early. Right, like Intel, didn't trade it. Classic top fail break on Intel. Classic Intel. Like, I mean, come on. When a bad stock does this, double top in the pre-market, classic fail, short it basically anywhere to the low. I decided I want to short it back into this trend, give it to VWAP, right? So you have these trend lines down. I'm going to short it here, then I want to short it off this level, and I want to give it to that level. I mean, so again, I actually got the right average price here. It was kind of going up. I don't know where it's going to turn. So I want to have an average of about 93, 94 in here and give it just under 10 cents there. That was like 2002. Ended up, I think I said on live in the show, I ended up losing like 7 cents. The bottom was about 13 cents lower. So it did set up pretty well. I didn't think my executions were good because that was all front end, not back end. But that's one side of the trade. The other point here is, okay, accidental long, but I'll show you why. So the short off the high, when it failed the high, it was a classic failure of the top, shorted back into VWAP. Now this was a situation where, I'm going to go to the 15-minute for you here on Intel. You had the wipeout bottom after earnings. There's your bad, and then the wipeout low, and the higher low. So after the flush on earnings, you make a bottom, you hold a bottom, and then you're putting in a higher low today. And then all of a sudden, exactly $20 is going to be VWAP on this push to the downside. So I simply said to myself, it's VWAP, it's 20 bucks. Like if I wasn't trading Intel every single day looking for shorts, what would I be doing if a stock had made another false bottom, higher low, and now was bouncing off of VWAP after making a higher low post earnings? Well, I'd be thinking long usually. If I didn't have a bias short, I'd be thinking long 20s, long VWAP in that sense. So the answer was get out of Intel at that point. I end up accidentally into a long position, which I punch out of right away. I chuckle about it because I got in and out at the same price of a long, only to see it then bounce off of VWAP like 13 pennies. But you don't mean to get into position, you've got to get out. The moral of this lesson, I think, is there are certain points where previous high, top zone, this is where I want to make a decision. Am I covering some here? Am I not? When it goes into this level, okay, well, if it tries to break down here and goes into this, where they also had a wick, am I covering or not? Now in here, that's a stupid, well, it's not a stupid out. That's a bad out. That's an out that doesn't make any sense. I can understand why make a decision here. Why make a decision here? There was no need here. I could have waited to see if we could have recovered 4 or 5 cents lower to take another leg out. When it breaks down and gets into this chop zone, I want to make sure I'm getting something out into VWAP. When it actually gets down in here, I want to make a decision all or nothing on the rest at that VWAP. Make decisions where you need to. And then ask yourself, if I was flat, what would I be doing in that spot? Like in here, if I was flat and I thought it was an uptrending stock, for sure that would be a dip buy spot. So why would I not be covering on the way back in? And the thing about SMCI, whether I got it right or not, it doesn't matter. It got to a point where I needed to make a decision, and I just removed position from it and asked myself, what am I seeing here? I'm seeing selling on a stock that's down on earnings, and it looks distinctly different from when it was going up the other times. That was the end of the analysis. Get out of the long. That was it. So every now and then, you've got to listen to your rules. You've got to ask yourself, in a neutral setting, what should I be doing with this stock at that price, at that moment, based on what I see in front of me? And if you let your position get the best of you or the bias in that moment, you can get yourself into trouble. Just try to have a clear mind. Those decision points a lot of times are relatively obvious. It just behooves you to ask yourself, if I wasn't in position, what would I be doing? That's your lesson of the day.
Hello. Thank you very much, Neil. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Neil. Informative, eloquent, and the best A word, awesome as always. Neil Roberts every day around lunchtime. always dropping hot line. We call it kneelage on this desk because it is literally kneelage. So shout out to him. Thank you very much for that, Neil. All right, I'm in Apple. I was looking for a VWAP dip trade here. I think it's going to be short-lived because we're right back at that area of technical resistance on the future. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. If I'm able to find my screen over here, here it is. Let me just bring it in. This is what I'm looking at right now on the future. So we come into this previous area, 18,375. It's a former support area on the 5. We come right now on it on the 5 as well, 18,350 or thereabouts, and we're rejecting that area. If we reject, I don't want any smoke on Apple. So I've already wet my beak on some profits, but I want to see if it continues to move up. I'm going to give this one a tight stop through the break of 212. So if it stops me out for the last remaining amount, it's okay. It'll still be profitable. I just want to see if we catch a bid, but knowing full well that we are in an area of technical resistance right now on the future NQ, a former area of support at around 18,000, between 2/3 to a fifth, 2/3 to a half, excuse me, and we're right back there on the way up. So probably some resistance. I've got my beak wetter on Apple if it triggers at around the $0.50. If it breaks 212, I'm out. So that's the look right now. But there's other trades to be had here. Both long and short. The one I'm looking at, TSLA, right? This one down 1 2/3. It's been beautiful right now off the 10 exponential. There was this area outlying here, breached the 10, breached the 20, breached VWAP, breached the 50, weaseled its way all the way up into that pre-market consolidation area bottom, came into that area, rejected all the way back down. Then starts re-respecting. Can you re-respect?
Respecting.
Respecting. But you respected it, and then it re-respected it. I don't know. I'm making up words like conflated.
You respected it so much.
I like it, Fabian. I like it. Anyway, make a long story short, it's respecting the 10 exponential on the way down now. So it's weaseling its way up here. 197.5 possibly could be an interesting area. Short, we're at $0.33 right now. Tesla making lower highs, lower lows. I don't think there's a news catalyst today specifically for Tesla, but it is not a good look at the moment. So possible short over here on TSLA. Packing my patience, looking for number one, this Apple trade to resolve, whether to the upside or the downside, come what may. And then looking to see whether I can weasel in my way into Tesla for a possible shorted there.
Yeah, market's using violence right now, and so am I. I'm short the Qs because look at this. Shout out to Jay Lee for being like, oh, don't forget about the Qs. I normally do not trade the Qs. My future of choice is going to be the SPY, which I'm going to get in. Okay, yeah, if we have that nice little break there below 527, I'm getting in the SPY as well. So I'm trading both these futures at the same time. It's a little risky, oh, for sure. And I'm very, keeping my eye on both, but they're both coming into levels of resistance. I watched SPY waffle around that 527 for a while. As we kind of got weaker there, I wanted to take it short. Maybe a bit of an aggressive entry point there for the SPY, but it's much smaller SPY position than I have in the TQs. I got a little bit of wiggle room here in the Qs. I'm risking only 15 cents on this. I would love to see violence here if we get back into 56.15. That would be a nice level for me for the TQs. I'm going to go to the SPY though here, because it's getting a little too, and I want to focus on my one stock. So TQ's there, happy with you. You can live your life. And SPY, sorry I abandoned you, but you're looking a little bit relatively strong compared to my TQs. So, to be clear, the SPY actually made a percentage of a penny on the way I got out, so that was kind of weird. But IWM, I had a nice trade on this, right? That I decided to take 2 very necessary shorts. I feel better about this attempt at the second one than I do in the first one. I think the first one was we were breaking above 205, couldn't hold it. Oh, cool, great short, whatever. No, that was a little bit chasey and I think a little bit FOMO-y, so I don't like that. This second short, though, we did have that 205.20 area. I watched this for a while. I watched, got up, watched this. We wicked into, we had some topping tail candles. I like the look, but I should have checked on the multi-time frames. We still had that hold of 204.80. Alas, it did not work out. I had to leave. That being said, if we go bounce off 205.20s now, could that be a long for me? Potentially. Oh yeah, okay, my Qs are just topping and turning. I have no reason to leave you yet, but I will be piecing out of you. Let's see what you do. SPY now breaking lower, so I guess I could have stayed in the SPY, but for my risk management purposes, I had to not have all those 2 crazy futures in my brain. I just got to worry about one future. You can't turn your back on the futures even if you're going back to the future. So yeah, TQ was intermittently in and out of the money. Now I actually feel like we're trying to push higher in these futures. So Let's see how that goes. But those are what I'm looking at right now. Disney's still breaking lower, so I clearly abandoned Diz a little too early. But if Diz gets back to the line, the VWAP, I'll be getting out there. Okay, bye, Qs. You were fun while you lasted. Not really. Didn't get to do everything I wanted to with you. But let me out. Bye, Qs. So good times there. What are you looking at over
I'm
here?
looking at Apple. I'm very close to getting printed here at the $0.50. Let's go, Apple. All right, so let's weasel our way up a little bit more, Apple, here, please. Let's go.
Please, Apple.
Assign sincerely myself.
Remember when I was
Sharif.
talking to Apple this morning for you?
Yeah, well, Dara, look, there's not much, I can do about this price. All right, there we go. Nice move up on Apple. Happy with this trade. Oh boy, did I get into Tesla? No, I did not. Thank goodness. I was looking at shorting the Cybertruck at the $0.50, and it just blew through the $0.50. So please, this dang punch, I didn't get into that. But here we go. At the 20 exponential on the 5 is Tesla. This is a deeper retracement now. Let's watch to see if Tesla rejects off this level. There was a candle of indecision here that probably bamboozled everybody and their mother's cousin. Probably just me. But really, I was looking at getting short here off the 10 exponential. I pulled the order at the last second. I didn't like it because I wanted to manage the Apple trade. But this one, rejecting now generally off that 198 and change area, which is the 20 exponential. Let me tell you something else, though. That Chef Joe, shout out to the chef man in there. Thank you for putting the chef, because I didn't see it in the chat, or I didn't see it on my newsblotter, rather. I asked, I guess, an open question, is there a headline on Tesla today? Because down 1 1/3, while every other Mag 7 name positive or flat, NVIDIA flat. He says, yes, Tesla has paused the Model Y in Canada amid the rebate approval delay for Chinese imports. Very interesting. I didn't actually know any of the Model Ys that were in Canada came from China. I thought that they only exported the Chinese Model Y to Europe and other Asian countries. I didn't know about the Canada thing. So that's really interesting. Thank you for letting me know that. I didn't get a chance to read the article. Let's find out what the sitch is with that. Putting Canada in my news blotter. Nothing coming up for Canada. Interesting. Okay, nothing Tesla related coming up for Canada, but all right. We'll keep tabs on that. Anyway, back to the price action here on TSLA. Zigging and zagging right now, a little bit above 198, a little bit below. The reason I'm even looking at this level is simply the 20 exponential. I really can't make that point clear enough. There's no price action resistance around here. If you're looking for price action resistance, in my humble estimation, it's around 198.75 to 199 vis-a-vis these umpteen amount of candles of indecision, kind of topping tail, but more doji than anything else. Right around here on TSLA. Still very interested on the short as the future retraces, tries to get back into 18.4. As you can see there, a breach momentarily, the 10 exponential on the 5. Not like I use that specifically on the futures trades, but just keeping an eye here to see whether market strength is coming back or not. We're still up 1% on the NQ September contract. All right, the trade that I had here on the dead one, Apple, I was pleased with this trade. I wanted to see whether or not it was going to be able to take 212, because we had price action support earlier on our descent down at 212. So I said, all right, look, clearly it's shown itself at least intraday to be an interesting area of either support or resistance. Let's not front run it at 211.50, which was the dip area. Let's see if it reclaims 212 on a closing basis. That's what I waited for. So I gave up a couple of pennies, obviously, by doing that. And then I was able to wet my beak almost into the $0.50 there at the mid 40s. So I'm pleased with this Apple trade. It's the strongest, is it? No, it's not. Yes, it is. The strongest Mag 7 name on the day, unless you include Netflix for whatever reason in your Mag 8. Netflix up 3%, 3.1%. Apple, hey, get it, Neil. Apple up 2.56, second strongest, or third strongest, excuse me. The Zon, 2%, but the Zon is negative since the bell has rung. So Amazon is up 2.08%, but down 0.74% since 9:30. So again, guys, I always keep these two columns here, and I know we're not doing a lesson on it today, but I really want to yap about it for a second. I have two columns here on my watch list. One is change percentage, and that starts at 4 a.m. And then there's change since open. That starts calculating or populating at 9:30. And the reason you want those two bad boys in there, you want to see, is it strong when we gapped up overnight? Hence, different markets were looking at it as they were trading that 4 a.m. to kind of 9:30 a.m. time slot, or is it consistently strong both after the bell or pre-bell and after the bell? So that's why I keep those two columns to see how the stock is doing, relatively speaking, on the day. So that's the look there. Let's see what else we got over here. Let's bring in the side charts and see how some of the other earnings names that we have on the day are faring at the moment. I know Adair was printing up a storm on Disney, and Disney's continuing to head down, just breached VWAP, gave that 88 level up on the way down to 87 3/4. Great trade, Adara. Wanted to shout you out for that. What else is moving here? Rivian is, I don't know, lulling you to sleep? What is going on here, Rivian? You want to wake up? Since 9:40 a.m., you've been locked in a 50-penny little range there, 14.10.
Let it live in, Sharif.
Oh, yes, I cannot disrespect the ranges with Adair Panera right next to me, Adair Panera range. No, anybody who was watching the show earlier in the year knows exactly about that. But 14.10 Adair seems to be a bit of a bottom here. The bottom is incrementally getting a little bit higher and higher, to be fair. So maybe around 14 1/5, 14.20, maybe that $0.25 now. But the top not really getting any higher. The bottom's getting higher. The top maintaining its kind of position at that 50-penny level. So a range trade right now, possibly here on RIV. And there are outliers. For example, this candle over here at around 10:45 breached and probably stopped out a lot of people, going up to that 14 2/3. So, you know, for the exception of a couple of outlying events, I think the range has been respected pretty well here on the day there.
Yeah, you know what else is actually weirdly respecting things right now is the TQs. Got out on my short, then I was like, hey, long maybe. And why did I like the long? Because we were bouncing off the 80s and we had that, you know, nice support there. So I said, as long as we stay above 80s, more specifically kind of, I guess, like this like high 70s area where we had these little earlier, I was cool. It was like, let's build a position. Started at 90s, then I added here at just below 57s because that was where we were, you know, kind of having a moment. Initially, I was trying to get out the first part of the position at 57.10s. TQs did not allow that to occur. I asked a TQ, and it did not give me the A or the answer that I was looking for. But I said, that's all good. Now I'm looking for 57.05s. It was just area I watched in the book that we were able to get to. So let's go to Qs. If I were to add again, like I don't mind that I averaged up. I'm okay with that. If I were to add again, if we bounce off 57.85s, in retrospect, that is the actual like clear add level if you do want to DCA down from this. Shout out to Jay Lee, who I know was in this short and said, in hindsight, you should have probably covered around 56.2. Yeah, I mean, you had a way better price than me. You said you shorted like 58. So great look there. TQs, let's keep pushing higher. Where my next area I like B, I want to see what we do at 57.20s. Why do I want to see what we do at 57.20s? That was a bit of an area at which we chopped and churned. I'm happy we made it past that 57, like 10s-ish area. That was clearly a bit of resistance from previous support earlier, so I'm happy we were able to do that. But also, another stock I've been looking at, albeit not as much as I often do, is Tesla. And I want to see what Tesla does at the 198.50. Like I said, mid 198s. That was the level at which I took my only trade in Tesla today. I took it before the market opens. You could see we bounced here. I did not time the bounce very well, clearly. Then we come back here. We chip, and then we chop to the downside. Then after having a little bit of a moment here at 197.75s, we push higher. If we can get to 198.50s hold, long. If we break below it, short. So that's the vibe there. To Qs, how are you to doing? Let's take a look at you. Okay, yeah, we're like flat. Like I said, I want to see what we do here. If depending on what's happening here around that 57 area, I'm okay with adding, like I said, 56 mid 80s, high 80s if it holds there, because that was a level that I really enjoyed and honestly, arguably where I should have started the position in the first place. SPY also holding really nicely here at 527.50. The stress of being in two futures trades at once was a lot last time. I was going to say it nearly killed me, but that'd be a bit dramatic and also untrue. But if I like them both, I am tempted to take both. Shopify keeps grinding higher. There are certain levels I like on that. And as Sharif said, I was looking for like a potential short the pop area on Disney. Disney's like, what pop? What pop? It just keeps dropping. So I'll pull back up the mouse house again here. So Mickey can be like, hey, I'm still low. But yeah, I like 75. If I were to go like for A level, it would be that previous VWAP slash pre-market here at 87.75. So I don't want to chase. If it gives me 87.75s, I'm okay with that. Another stock that has been all drop, no pop here, that's been dropping the weight today has been Novo Nordisk.
I'd kick him out of my gym if he did that.
Right, yeah.
Dropping the weights in my gym.
That makes sense. Novo Nordisk actually trying to make a bit of a higher low, though. If we can eclipse this 90 MA area in that previous little here at
That's so good.
119.70s, I would actually like that for Novo Nordisk. Let's keep a lookout here and see what's going on there. Because if Novo Nordisk wants to bulk up a little bit before it takes his next Wegovy, I'll say let's Wegovy to Novo Nordisk. I did not.
You didn't? Okay, I think you probably said it to me. He's like, do you mean they dropped the weight or the whey? Both are criminal in my eyes. You drop whey protein or you drop the weights?
Oh, that's good.
Whey protein, Dara.
Sorry, I'm a little.
Yeah, it's all good.
That's really good, though.
I thought you might like that. That's right down your alley. I think you're infecting everybody in a good way.
I am.
Because I think it's very mentally stimulating to do these kind of things.
It keeps you focused and happy.
All right, I want to yap about a Tesla here for a second, guys.
Please do.
This looks like a bit of a head and shoulders pattern. And again, these patterns are fractal. And the reason I'm interested in this, not because, hey, look, I can identify patterns after the fact, no. Because I kept looking to short Tesla and it didn't respect any of my moving averages, not the 10, not the 20. But it did find a nice little topping tail candle right here. Lo and behold, it's at the neckline of the, you guessed it, the head and shoulders. So this is a really interesting miss here on my part. Head and shoulders pattern. We know the neckline is like that break-even point, the area where if you break down below that, you're supposed to pile onto the trade. We saw the trade actually manifest in exactly that fashion. Neckline break, huadunk. Retracement, huadunk. Again, so then we come back into the neckline at 198.60. Well, it's not a huadunk, but it's on the way down, right? Topping tail, da-da-da-da-da. We're about $1 off that top there at 198.60, high 50s, printing 197.80s. So really big miss on my part here. And I got to tell you, when I looked at it on the 5-minute, I didn't see it in with the exact same clarity as I'm seeing it on the 1-minute, hence why I didn't take it. Here's the look on the 5. Kind of hard, I don't want to say it's hard to see the head and shoulders pattern there. It's now evident when you're looking at it, knowing that it's there, but this looks a lot clearer to me. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but yeah, mistrade on my part. Definitely nice area resistance there. You come in, great technical resistance at that level, and then down we go again. So good look there on TSLA. We'll see if it can break down below 197.80, because funny enough, that's a support level because it was formerly a resistance. So we'll see if that 197.80 can give way and what the sitch is there. The future did reject 18.4. Okay, so we were talking about this one. We were talking about weaseling our way back from that 18.3 drop off that almost 18.6 touch earlier. And then right there we go. So now we're kind of putting in a double top generally in that 18.4 area. However, I don't know if we necessarily make newer lows. This could be an inverse head and shoulders. Left, again, I'm seeing maybe what I want to see here, but it doesn't hurt me to be alive to the fact that it may manifest. So left shoulder head, right shoulder, we'll see if we can break that neckline at around that 18.410 level on a closing basis, not a quick wick. And no, it's got to be a closing basis. Possibly we could mean revert back into the top there on the NQ September contract. I'm also obviously watching Apple, seeing it as it is very strong on the day. A couple of bounces there off the volume weighted average price. We'll see if this one can keep weaseling its way up. Let's have a look at some of these small cap, or not small cap cappers, but some of these earnings play before we start the lesson du jour, Dara. We're talking, guys, in case you're wondering, about earnings all week long. So nothing really to my liking at the moment. But look at this on Tesla. Surprise, dang, surprise. 197.80 starts holding again. Former area of resistance now acting as support. Tesla's all over the map, man. It's giving you all these micro trades. This is great technical analysis, though. I think the way that it's trading, not how I'm interpreting it on the day. Because if you're able to see these, I think you're able to profit from them. So good look right now on TSLA. But let's start the lesson du jour. Again, in case you're wondering what we are talking about earnings all week long. Today, specifically, we're going to talk about identifying potential earnings plays and presenting you some possible trades that you can take through the options market to get in on these earnings plays. So let's get right to it. So earnings season presents both opportunities and risks, goes without saying. Learning, though, to identify potential earnings plays can significantly enhance your trading strategy. So let's do a little bit of learning here. So again, we're going to talk about 4 different options trades that you can possibly take. These are not an exhaustive list at all. I saw you guys in the chat say, hey, why don't you talk about the Iron Condor or this, that, and the other. Guys, I'm not an options trader. I'm presenting you with these trades. It's incumbent upon you to kind of do your homework on them before ever using them. And again, it's not an exhaustive list. So the long calls. What is this? So essentially what you're doing here, you're buying a call option on a stock. The idea is to profit from it if the stock price rises significantly after earnings, and essentially the risk, the amount of money that you're putting up here is limited to the amount that you paid for the options. So if the options cost you $3,500, Spile Burdette, I'm talking to you. I'm not going to say, but yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, that's
I think
okay
you did
there.
just say.
Well, what I'm hiding is the bigger thing.
I'm joking,
Yeah.
yeah.
If it costs you $3,500, that's how much you stand to lose. Okay. You only stand to lose the amount that you put in the options. And this is exactly how the options chain looks like. So if you get an option or if you get a brokerage that offers you options, you're often going to see this, your strike price, the amount that you, or the price that you think the equity name will move up or down to. And that's what you're going to buy or, that's the option, the call or the put options based on the strike price that you choose. You can often also see the ask size, the bid size, the volume there. But I would submit to you the open interest, very telling to see what kind of market exuberance, market interest there is at that particular strike. Case in point, look at this 195 area here on AAPL, 23,900 in terms of open interest. This 195 area has 23,000. The lower we go, it seems the less interest there is, as well as the higher we go, it also seems to be a little bit less interest. But there's a bunch here at 235. Who wonders why? Because we topping tailed on Apple. An island gap pattern at that 237. Go look. Island gap. So this is what you would see on the call side of the options chain. Let's talk about long puts, though, a different type of trade. This involves buying a put option on a stock. It's profitable if the stock price declines significantly after earnings. And again, much like the long call, your risk is limited to what you paid for the options. And here is the other side of the options chain, the put. Again, you're going to see the strike price in the middle, the open interest to show you market interest in that particular price, the volume, bid size, bid, ask and asks size, and your implied volatility up here. So this is your options chain on the put side. Let's talk about straddles. What are straddles? This involves buying both a call and a put option on the same stock with the same strike price and the same expiration date. It's profitable if the stock moves significantly in either direction, and it requires typically a higher degree of volatility to be profitable. Here's how it's kind of described visually. If you want to go ahead and take a screenshot of that, help you out, have at it. The other trade we're talking about is a calendar spread. Calendar spreads, they're called. This involves buying and selling options on the same stock with different expiration dates. It's less risky, though, than the straddle, as it benefits from the time decay on the shorter term option, and it's profitable if volatility remains relatively stable or actually decreases. So that's another one you can look at there. Again, non-exhaustive list. Here is kind of how it is displayed visually, the calendar spreads. All right, but in order to actually execute any of these options trades for earnings, you got to be able to find them, right? To know this company is going to report this day, or these groups of companies, or this sector is going to report around this time. We all know banks start earnings season. They usually start it. Then we get some big tech as well. So here's how we do it. Get yourself an earnings calendar. Utilize an earnings calendar to identify upcoming earnings release dates. Prioritize, I would submit to you, the companies with high potential for earnings surprises or significant market reactions. I'll show you how to do that in a second. And consider the timing of the earnings release relative to other market events. So if Apple never does, but if it reported on Friday morning on the day that we get non-farm payrolls, you need to understand that the price action on Apple may not only be dictated by its earnings, it may be influenced by the non-farm payrolls. So you need to be very alive to the fact that there may be economic releases during your earnings, okay? And if there are, you have to account for that. And here is kind of what the earnings calendar looks like. If you don't have it free on your platform, I have it free on mine. Get yourself perhaps Trade Ideas or Benzinga. They all have that as well. You can get a free one here vis-a-vis Earnings Whispers. This is last year next week. So this is kind of how it looks like there. And it's not exhaustive, guys, right? They're just choosing the biggest names here. All right, so you can use an earnings calendar, obviously, to screen for the names that you like, but then that's not the end of the matter. You got to dig a little bit deeper. So you got to conduct some, cursory fundamental analysis. The first thing we're going to talk about here is the industry performance. So you want to identify sectors with either positive or negative growth and earnings expectations. The reason I say positive or negative, because you can go long or short. We don't have to only go long, right? So if you're looking for something weak and it could continue to bleed, look at for that. Company growth or lack thereof, right? Look for companies with consistent revenue and earnings growth or revenue and earnings misses, right? Demonstrating strong or weak financial health. Again, works both ways. Analyst ratings as well. It behooves you to get into this. You can consider stocks with a high consensus analyst rating and recent upgrades or low consensus analyst rating and recent downgrades. Again, works both ways. You also want to be alive to its earnings history. You want to analyze the past earnings reports to identify patterns and trends. For example, lots of these electronics companies do much better during the winter quarter because of all the Christmas buying and all the gift giving that's around that time. And there's also Black Friday around that time. So you need to be very careful to make sure which quarters you're comparing to. For example, if you compare Q1, which is the winter, or Q4, which is the winter quarter, with Q1 when everybody's broke after Christmas, nobody's buying iPhones at that time. So you need to be alive to what your competitors are. And you should also be looking to see what this company's history is of surprise misses or beats. Right? Evaluate the company's track record of beating or missing earnings estimates, because if you miss or you beat, that creates a bit more volatility there. And the Greeks for the options traders out there. Again, I'm not one of them, but I'm going to tell you what they are. Implied volatility is one that I use a lot. IV, right? This is important. It's a measure. It measures the market expectations for price fluctuations. The higher implied volatility often indicates increased option premiums, right? Which can be beneficial for options-based strategies, but as the premium go up, your profitability may go down. So you need to look at those premiums. As the volatility goes up, the premiums will go up, so you need to be alive to that. Time decay also here, really important. Understand how the time value of options erodes as the expiration date approaches. This can influence your choice of expiration dates. I showed you that Apple options chain. You had the expiration, the one that was expiring on Friday, this Friday, and then you had the one that was expiring next Friday, and the one after that, and the one after that. So you need to make sure you know exactly which option you're getting, the call or the put, and that whether that jives correctly with the earnings release date. You also need to be on the lookout for the delta. Measure the options. It's a measure or measures the option sensitivity to the change in the underlying stock price. This helps assess, for example, the potential profit or loss for different stocks' price movement. And then there's the theta. This represents essentially the rate of time decay. Understanding the theta is crucial for managing those options positions. So make sure you're all good with that. And here is a nice little infographic of the Greeks. If this makes it easy for you, you can have that maybe in your pictures folder on your phone or something like that. That's kind of what I do. And I just want to mention here, I didn't put a slide for it, but it behooves me to do this. Risk management, guys, super important. All right, always. If you don't have an account to trade, you can't trade. So diversification. Ideally, spread your risk across multiple stocks and strategies. Not a hard and fast rule. Position sizing, though, is going to be, right? Determine appropriate position sizes based on your risk tolerance, your experience, your account size, etc. You got to make sure that you've got an account to trade with tomorrow. Otherwise, you're going to have to, reload that bad boy with some more money. And stop loss orders, guys. Implement protective measures to limit your potential losses, as we always talk about here on this desk, Adair.
Yeah, and sometimes one of the measures, we talked a lot about a bias that I think might be unique to me called tired bias, and that can sometimes be a protective measure. Like, for example, hey, maybe if you have a level in Disney that you really love, the choice is not to, while you're in that trade, look and see what AMD's doing. And then maybe the choice is not, and to be fair, previous support, I'm not going to completely hate on this trade, But the issue was, I think, like, I don't know why I added to this. I should have waited for that 50s level instead of getting involved initially at 133.68, then adding at 50s. 50s should have been just the be-all, end-all on that. Then I wasn't able to get fulfilled, didn't realize I hadn't gotten everything out. So just a lot of mistakes made there. That being said, watching this made me realize, like, the strength of that 133.40 level, which I was using as my, my stop. If we get back to 133.40s and reject, I'm very interested. Not proud of the trading that has been done here, and not proud of, like, honestly, a lot of the non-Disney related trading that's been happening today for myself. You just have to find ways to, like, learn and grow and improve upon stuff. Like, if, you know, yesterday went well, and it's like, what worked well yesterday? Taking trades off of levels and sticking to them. And in that way, Disney has been, like, you know, my best stock by far, just because I had a level and I stuck with it. But IWM, some of these extra unnecessary shorts notwithstanding, I have levels on that 205.20, like I said, was really solid. My only thing with IWM is we do have higher lows that need to be being aware of. We'll pretend that was English. So keeping an eye on the Russell as that one kind of rustles its way to the downside. Also, if you have any tickers you're looking at, then maybe they're rustling the way to the upside or the downside or the all-around side. Get in that chat. Exclamation point, join space, $, whatever tickers you're fancy. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it is EWIM. Maybe it is AMD. Maybe I'm looking at my side charts again. Maybe it's ABNB. Whatever ticker you want to look at, you want those big kahunas to look at, exclamation point, join space, $, whatever ticker you like. IWM was like, oh, Adara, you wanted that breakdown? That chance. Also, Disney, I got back in 40 pennies in the money there on that one. Took out a third of that position. I was looking to add. I don't think that's going to happen. But actually, as much as I would be like, this would be kind of a bit of a DCA to the downside, I'm actually okay with lowering my price and getting involved here at 87.48s because Disney shows you exactly zero interest in popping. And if it's going to do that, like, Disney, come on, sir. I will short you to oblivion. You know this. So I want to see if we get back up to 87.50s, what we do here. I am okay with adding to the position because I do want a little bit more. Okay, yeah, we can't hold that. We'll get down Disney. Yeah, you know what? And get down Tesla. I love that 198 short. I was looking at that as well. I want to shout out Sharif for that awesome trade. He already got out, so shout out to you. But yeah, Disney here, I should have better eyes on that Tesla scalp. EWM, I still have an order there that I'm absolutely not getting filled, so should have been a little bit aggressive with that instead of being all once bitten, twice shy about it. We should get that TQQ short, says Jaylee. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm happy I let it go. I didn't have a good entry point on it, in all honesty. And if I wanted to re-enter, it should have been around 57.80. So all good there. Happy I tried the long. I actually took some profit on the long, ironically, and not the short. So we'll see what happens here on the TQs. Still keeping an eye on that, keeping an eye on this here Marquette, keeping an eye on Disney as it gets back maybe to 87.50s, gives me fill, then goes back downside. IWM, you go back to 205s, I short you. Lumen, I think, is done, says Manny Fresh. Yeah, Lumen, much like me, I think might be a little bit sleepy on the day. Has a little eyes closed there. Lumen getting a little bit of shut-eye. Also, guys, in 12 minutes, we have an auction. Oh. It's going to be the 10-year note auction. I am very hesitant to get into any trades as we get into that auction area. Though, Disney, if you're going to still be weak, like, I'll keep you. I'm not that worried about you. Disney, I think Mickey and Minnie are like having a bit of a quarrel or something over there.
Oh, that's not good.
I know. I hope they get over it, but not while I'm in the trade. So I'm not that concerned about the relationship. But honestly, Lumen, I don't mind at 690s. And I'm going to zoom out here to kind of show what I mean. I had 2 levels actually written on Lumen, which is not the type of ticker I normally trade, but I still did like levels on it. One of them was 680, so kind of close to the level I'm mentioning here. But why I like that 680s is look at all these wicks we had here as support. We drop below, we wick up, we drop below, we come back up, we bounce. So to me, Lumen, for whatever reason, at 680s has been a little bit of a vibe. Disney, I don't think you're going to give me what I want there. That's fine. Trying to look for some more trades, but not chase my way into trades. AMD. So find trades that make sense. But when you see the trades that make sense, you go after the trades that make sense.
Bang.
EWIM, why didn't I do that with you? It is no matter. We will find other opportunities. And yeah, I want to hear about the Tesla though.
Yeah, thank you, Adara. Look, I kept talking about this 198.60 as the area where the head and shoulders neckline broke. It proved to you that that was an area there because there was umpteen amount of topping tails that got into that 198.60 area, and then we dropped. We gave up that level at 198, and that's why I got short there aggressively and covered all the way down. I was able to take 40 pennies. I'm very happy with this trade. obviously. I want to see if we hold up, though, at 197.50-ish, because, again, we got this area over here that seems to be holding up. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the future is at 18.3 again, so this is going to be really interesting. We already printed a new local low. We got into 18.275. We hadn't earlier on that 12 o'clock dip. The worst we could do there was 18.280. So we breach it by about 5 points. That's number one. Number two, if we give way 18.3 here, we may be going break even or negative on the day. And then as the future comes down, look at the dead one. Apple, sorry. It's setting up for a head and shoulders. Shout out to Caleb. I forget his last name. I got to shout him out.
Robinson?
Caleb Robertson. Yeah. Shout out to him because what he said, look, possible head and shoulders on AAPL. Absolutely. This is the 5 minute. Just because we see it, though, doesn't mean it's going to manifest. Let's wait for confirmation. We have right now a sloped neckline. And John J. Murphy talks about the sloped neckline in his book, Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets. You know, some people feel that they're more bearish if the right shoulder trough is lower than the left shoulder trough. Some people say the failure rate for the head and shoulders increases if the right shoulder trough is higher than the left shoulder trough. Whatever your case is, I see a possible head and shoulders here. I don't have to be first. I can participate in it. But it is a bit of a sloped headline neckline headline. Get it together, Sharif. At the moment. Finding support at the moment, again, at the volume weighted average price. It was able to hold up there. And quite frankly, if we hold up here, generally at this 211.75, this will be another higher low. So if we can count the troughs or identify the troughs on Apple's trading range today, we have the initial one here at 10.15 and 10.20, and the low there is around 210, low 80s. Then we obviously have a trough over here at around noon, and that got into 211.20. And if this area trough holds up here, I'm not saying it will, if it holds up here, it'll be a 211.60. So incrementally higher lows, something to also account for when assessing a possible head and shoulders pattern. So keeping my eye firmly here on AAPL. It's not really breaching the lows, though, while the future is continuing to print newer lows. We're all the way down really to the low end of the range. It's not the overnight low. That takes us all the way down to 18,030. So we're still about, 250 points away from that, 240 points away from that. But, we are at a local low. Now, pre-market area over here at around 3 a.m., 3:20, we bottomed out at 18.225. Yeah, not like I really have that level as an important level. We got the future, very weak. Probably chief among them is the soft one over here. It's really flushing. I mean, I felt I was really overhyping things when I said we could easily see 400 on Microsoft. Now I don't feel like I'm overhyping that at all. This thing's coming off 410. It's at 401 and a third. On the way down, it looks like here to touch 401. Not the highway, Dara, but yeah. Wow, you were not impressed with that.
No, I liked it. I'm just tired. This is my tired love.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, no. I promised the enthusiasm was real. As is my trepidation and the qualms in Shopify. I don't have enough qualms to leave, but I have qualms, so let's talk about the qualms. Clearly, the trade on Shopify was the long. I want to shout out Obi, who had some longs on that one earlier. I had some longs on this earlier. Clearly, this level is 66.30. Why did I try shorting it again? I'll tell you. It's because, although in retrospect, this reason makes no sense. I should probably leave. We had this big old drop, right? Then we get into 30s. We get below 30s. I was like, okay, Dara, the time is now. Short. And then I was like, okay, well, we do have higher lows here. We're still above VWAP. But I will say, as someone who's been chopped up in the who's been Shopified in the Shopify short for a while here today, this kind of baby bounce that we're going to get view up, nothing compares to the bounces we have earlier. And I said to Dara last time, your biggest issues with Shopify, we're having too much of a position to begin with. So I started small. I'm going to add if we get to 66s and we break lower. If we don't, I get out 66s, I take 25 pennies. I'm going to be pleased as punch. But I was willing to risk here into this 50 area, kind of the top of that previous range. I didn't even have to. We got 44s, and I said to Dara, regardless of your hesitance, Shopify, we got the market down. Shopify not having that same little bouncy castle action we're at VWAP that we were seeing earlier. You owe it to yourself to stay in the trade. Also, Disney, surprisingly not my problem child. Please just punch with this right now.
Great trade.
Thank you so much. We're like 70 pennies in the money. I wish I'd honestly just traded only Disney all day, because that would have been better. Sometimes you have those moments in retrospect, but time for some aggressive journaling. Disney, if you want to break 87s, you know how happy you would make me? They call Disney World the happiest place on earth. For me, my happiest place on earth is the Disney stock right now. So let's see if this happens. Let's see if we're going to move down to use a reference of a not Disney property. Chung Chung. I want that breakdown here in these markets. Shopify, though, as I'm getting happy about Disney, Shopify is like, oh, can I like get into 50s? And I'm like, I'd really rather you not, but okay. Let's see what Disney does here. I'll see what we do at 25, because that was a previous area of resistance. And then the book that got a little dicey. You could also see the topping tail candle. If we break above 25s, I get out. I'm willing to risk into 25s, though. Also, again, auction in 4 minutes. And that's going to be the 10-year note auction. Let's see what happens there for that re-auction. Also, Shopify, I do have eyes on you. I'll let Disney chill while I see what decision needs to be made with my shopping cart.
All right, we want to let you know. Attention, Canadian traders. The Real Trading Campus program is back. Are you ready to elevate your game? Our exclusive program is designed to transform you into a real trader. Dive deep into the market microstructure, explore diverse marketplaces, and master professional execution techniques. We'll focus on U.S. equities, starting with a carefully curated stock list, to optimize your learning. As you progress, you'll gain access to an expanded range of symbols, from order types to venue exploration. We've got you covered. This isn't about chasing high flyers. It's about building a solid foundation for a long-term success. Don't miss this opportunity to join our upcoming cohort and take your trading to the next level. That's a pause for effect there.
Join that cohort.
Yeah, get the cohort. I don't use cohort in that way, but that doesn't mean it's not usable in that way. Absolutely. Shout out to the best prop trading firm around, Real Trading, baby. We are sponsored by them. Shout out to them. So all I see is Disney headed down, and all I can do is hit the banks for Adara, because basically it's one of the only real directional ones. Obviously, Upstart is very directional, but has been waffling a little bit since making that 3640 HOD. Generally, that noon hour or so. Good look today, obviously, for Upstart. Disney continuing to suffer and head down. It looks like it's going to hit that 87 awfully soon if it hasn't already.
It has not.
I know people were talking about Lumen, right? But guys, the move really was in the aftermarket yesterday, because today, very much an inside day. This is if they inside day had a picture definition, this would be it right here, okay? You move up big boy yesterday off that earnings play right at around 415. You spike up into that 9 3/4, but you whiffle and waffle and then comes back down. Looks like we closed out around at 8 p.m. there at the end of regular or aftermarket trading. We were about $7. And right now, 610 the low, 783 the high. Very much ensconced in yesterday's price action. We are above the volume weighted average price, but we really do not have a discernible direction. The only thing that I can really see here of note is this gnarly double bottom here at 615, 614s. Generally in that area, if you print it on that, you're doing real well right now, 80 pennies or some odd in the money for LUMN. Rivian is continuing to maintain its 1450 top. But as I mentioned before, and nothing has changed, the lows are getting higher incrementally, okay? So if we can make the case over here, 1408 area trough, we then weasel a little bit higher, 1412 area trough. And then it's a 1420 area trough, and then we weasel up 14 1/4, and now 1427. I know it's not dollars here, but the low is getting bought up incrementally higher and higher on every move down. So I'm not saying this is going to be a flat top break or bull flag or whatever it looks like at the moment, but this could present you with an interesting range trade, whether long or short. RIVN in play after that earnings report from yesterday. Guys, it was a tough time for Rivian. I think there's some good stuff and some bad stuff. I'm just going to talk a little bit about it here because the thing about this one is they're losing tons of money on their cars. $32,700 is the average dollar value loss per vehicle sold.
Oh, it looks like there might be an auction reaction, but I'm not actually seeing the auction as I put in the chat here, guys. It's still, it just hit 1 p.m., so maybe my eyes are slow or the thing is slow. We got a bit of a move down here in the market. I'm not seeing the number yet, guys. Sorry to interrupt there, Sharif. But yeah, I'll let you guys know as we see any move here. We have the SPY hanging out around that 525 level. Q's also at a level where it could potentially bounce. This could be a key area as we wait for that re-auction, potentially, should we get it. Just wanted to see, because I saw people saying auction, and I was like, I don't know yet, but we'll let you know when auctions happen.
And I want to let you know that the 10-year right now, so the way to compare the 10-year, right now, the 10-year futures is printing 926. It's up 1.11%. So oftentimes we make an incorrect assessment to see what the 10-year printed last time. It's not about what it printed last time. It's about what it was trading at before the actual auction came out. Right now, my 10-year is showing 3926. This is the continuous futures contract. You may have a bit of a different number if you're not on the continuous contract. So the reason I use the continuous contract for obvious reasons, because I want to be able to see areas of technical support when I chart on the daily without interruption. And there's a whole other thing about the math that goes behind a continuous contract, so we're not going to get into it. But there it is right there. We're printing 396. I don't think we have the reaction yet. Oftentimes, a lot of great viewers in the chat will put it for us, as they usually do get it before us. But yeah, that 10-year auction, awaiting that momentarily. But I was waxing poetic, to use an Adara term there, about Rivian before, and please feel free to interrupt me
if I see it. I'm refreshing, so I'll let you guys know if it comes out.
Yeah, so Rivian, again, the trouble with this one is they got some good cash from Volkswagen. That deal with Volkswagen helped them a little bit. But they did burn through $1 billion. Okay, so there it is. There's the auction. Now we were printing 3970. So now the 10-year is up from 1.11 to 2.11. Good market reaction there on the 10-year as it spikes. Here it is. So we were printing 3.92. We just got into 397, back down to 3953. So we'll have to see how the market reaction to that is. Let's zoom out here. It looks like Rivian took a bit of a spike down. What's the future doing? The future is headed to the downside, Adara, and looks like we're really going to give way here at 18.3, because now we're on the way down to 18.225. Oh, baby, this market is flushing. I'm going to let you do your thing. It looks like you're trading up a storm over there. So we'll continue to watch to see. Apple is still on the way down, but not really giving way as aggressively as I would have thought. I've been waiting to short up a storm on Apple. Let's now get out of this. Wow, Tesla's really headed down here.
I have the number with the 10% print was 3.96% compared to the previous there of 4.276%. So thank you, Sharif, for giving us that talk there on the auction. We also had Day Trader Cut putting in the chat, which I just noticed there as well. So thank you to you. I got out of Disney because weirdly the market drops and Disney's like, oh, you want me to bounce off 87? Really? I'm like, Disney? No, I don't. No, I don't, Disney. Shopify, I'm going to watch to see what we do here. I know I said I was going to be acting at 66s, but we did have that pop down. I want to wait a little bit here because we're basically flat in this position. Like I said, a small position. And I think this move we had down is more aggressive than to the downside than I've seen in a lot of Shopify so far today. That could have been, I guess, to be dramatic here, a fatal decision, but we'll see. We're rejecting again off 66.24s. So I'm kind of qualmless right now. Shopify, if you even want to behave, I might add to you with 66s. Because I think if you break 66s, you're going to drop like a stone. And in that case, I want you to dropify. I want you to drop Shopify. Now, the argument could be, Adara, you've been a little bit perhaps anchored to the Shopify short idea when they think he's bouncing on VWAP. And I'm like, yes, I made that argument myself. But I think, like I said, as someone who took a lot of false breakdowns to Shopify today, and then had the one successful long as well, part successful, mixed bag. But now what I'm seeing here in Shopify, as I said, is, to borrow a phrase from Obi, distinctly different, in that the highest we could wake up to was 66.50s-ish, and it was anemic at best. That bounce needed some ferrous gluconate, okay? That bounce needed an iron supplement. There was not a lot going on there. So let's see what happens here in Shopify. If you want to push lower. Yeah, Disney, again, I was like, am I being weird about Disney? No, Disney weirdly does want to hold on to 87.10s. I would consider getting back in Disney, and I say consider with a lot of disdain because I don't really know. If we have another rejection there, maybe I get back in Disney, but right now that's not going to be the vibe. I'm going to just check. Okay, Spotify does look kind of bullish here in the 10-minute, which I don't love. 15, a little bit more kind of doji-ish. But again, until we get that move into 50s, I'm okay staying in Shopify. Let's see what we do here at 66 is, like I said, 66. If we get another non-auction move down into 66, that's going to be the area where I decide if I get out or if I add to this for a quidunk to the downside. Because I think a quidunk could be in order with all these lower highs, with these topping tail candles, with this rejection of VWAP. We're actually now below VWAP, not just in the 5-minute, but we're getting there on some other time frames as well. So let's see what we do here on Shopify till you dropify. I might have been shopping or short here till I drop, but we'll see what happens. Also, guys, if there's any tickers you're looking at, maybe they're earnings, maybe they're not, whatever you're looking for, exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you're looking at. Maybe it's NVIDIA, maybe it's Microsoft, maybe it's AMP, maybe it's Meta, maybe it's Robinhood. Shout out to stocks.com where you can look at Robinhood. But this segment, like the show, is brought to you by Real Trading. And if you want to see what our real traders, the big kahunas, today, they're Neil and Obi, what they're looking at, you could actually find out through that awesome little segment. So check that out. I'm going to get it set up for the lesson. But what are you? Oh, I see you're in
Rivian.
You're not RJ scarenged by this stock.
So you and I talked this morning, and we agreed on something, right?
We did.
We did agree on something. And is it appropriate if we talk right now? I think it'd be appropriate.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad. Right?
Nah.
No. Okay.
No,
all right. We're going to have to do this. So here it is. So we're going to bring this down, and we're going to type in RJ scaring.
I didn't know what you were referring to.
Fabian, let me set up Fabian. All right.
He's really excited about this because he's right.
Hold on. All right. Then we need to do 2 windows side by side. So we got to go like that, and then we go like this. And we're going to go Steve up. There we go. All right, guys. Look, I'm not making this up. But show it, Fabian. I mean, Neil, am I wrong? Is there no similarities there? Someone help me out. Like, there's a lot of similarities. Neil, the glasses, the face shape, the nose, they both have similar lips. I mean, I know Steve-O's a completely different character than RJ Scaringe, it goes without saying. But, I mean, like, come on, I just can't help. Like, look at this picture over here. I wouldn't know them. I think they could dress each other as Halloween. No one would know the difference. Same hair. Look at that same. These guys got to be related. Like, they both have that little V thing in their hair where, like, it comes out a little bit and goes back in. Come on, these guys are related. I need DNA tests. I need to know immediately. Hit the thing. There it is. All right, I'm done complaining for the day. But yeah, that was interesting today because I don't know why, but I just actually noticed that they look like each other. While I was making fun of RJ Scaringe, I did get stopped out of Rivian, but it looks
like it was revenge.
Yeah, I know. I got out bottom wick to Adara.
Oh, my God.
I know, right? But that's all good. We're going to get right back into the Rivian there, and we're going to put the same out there. So if we break down below said level, we're going to be looking to get out around there. So interesting look today. Hey? Neil absolutely brings up a fantastic point. 23andMe, they're in trouble. They want to go back private. The CEO, she came out, she said, look, yeah, go to Neil's screen for a sec. Oh, that is not good, Neil. That's not good, Neil. Is that the daily? That's the daily chart. So absolutely 23andMe, if you're looking for a sponsor, get RJ on the phone, get Steve-O on the phone. Let's get this done because I need answers, baby. I'm done for the day. Shout out to UC Wave. All right, having a good time over here, guys. What is everybody looking at?
Oh my God, Fabian's right. James Marsden also has a slight, he could be their cousin. If not their twin, James Marsden could be their cousin.
Okay.
This is James Marsden. I kind of see it. This is the guy that was in that jury duty show. I can sort of see it. Well, also he's been in other things. He was in X-Men as well. I could kind of see that. But yeah, shout out to Fabian. I would say if not their sibling, because I think RJ and Steve-O could be twins, I think James Marsden could be a first or second cousin. So shout out to Fabian for that. We love, shout out to him for everything he's doing this week on his own. And just in general, we love this whole team. Great team over here. Also, C-Wave praising your wit. You are very witty. I'm very happy I get to sit next to this desk every single day. By the way, guys, just to keep you updated on my Shopify in case anyone was caring. Shopify is still making lower highs here. I'm going to get out 2/3 of the position at 66s if we get there during the lesson. But then if we come back and make a higher low, I'm willing to add, keeping eyes on it, waiting to see what happens here in that Shopify. I just wanted to secure some of the bag, some of the shopping bag during the lesson if I can. So we'll see what happens there. But in the meantime, we'll talk about identifying potential earnings plays. Speaking of, I guess, Shopify, good timing there. So we're going to talk about some potential earnings plays that can help significantly enhance your trading strategy. A lot of these today are going to be, I think all of them pretty much are going to be involving options. So an earnings play is going to be a trading strategy that aims to profit from stock price movement, specifically around earning release dates. If you ever listened to Danielle Shea, you can usually find on the market recap on Thursdays. She wasn't there last Thursday. She talks a lot about earnings plays, and she also sometimes will talk about the pre-earnings window, which starts 21 days before earnings. So that's one window she uses a lot. So it's just one thing to note as well as a preamble. But long calls are one way to play earnings. This involves buying call options on a stock, and it'll be profitable if the stock price rises significantly after earnings. And the risk is limited to the premium paid for the option. So all you're risking is the premium that you paid for the option. Long puts are another way you can play, here's just an example. You got the call options chain, the strike price here. This is for Apple, all these different potential strike prices there. So shout out to Sharif for including these visuals because we love in the wild. I guess it was at one point in the wild example. So thank you, Sharif, for that. But let's talk as well about potential long puts here. So long puts is what happens when you buy put options on a stock, and this will be profitable if the stock price declines significantly after earnings. So if you're like a trader of stocks and you're like, oh, like long puts, like, what? Well, I don't know that, right? That's like, I guess from what I understand, that's similar. It's the options version of shorting, right? So you're buying puts. And so the risk is going to be limited to the premium paid for the option, same as with long calls. So where shorting can be a little bit riskier, you might end up risking a little bit more with long puts. With long puts, it's going to be limited to the price paid for the option with regards to the risk. Here's one example of these put calls, or not put calls, put strikes for auctions. So shout out to Sharif.
Can I just say one thing quickly? Yeah. The open interest here is super telling. The higher the open interest, the more market interest in that particular strike price.
There's a lot of Apple 200 interest with that strike price.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Sharif, for putting that out there. I really appreciate that as well. Let's also talk here about straddles as another play that we can talk about here for sure. And straddles involve buying both a call and a put option on the same stock with the same strike price and the same expiration date. So these options got to be twitting. They got to be treacherous twit instead of 21 Savage and Drake. And this option will be profitable. That pun wasn't intended. This choice for trading will be profitable if you have the stock price moving significantly in either direction. So if it moves up, then you profit from your calls, and if it moves down, you profit from your puts. But it does require a high degree of volatility to be profitable because you're really betting on a large swing either direction to offset the cost of the options in and of themselves. So that's something to note here. Here's one example of a straddle option strategy. So let's say you've got your break even for your $90, max loss $1,000 here, right? So you've got max profit unlimited here in this case, and you can kind of go either direction if you want to go short here or long, depending, what your price is, you're kind of able to do that there. So it's just one kind of option of how you can play these straddles. And again, you really are looking for a pretty large point of movement here, right? Like break even $90 and that's without profit. Break even $110 and that's without profit if you're getting in at like 100, right? So you're looking for, like in this example, at least a $10 move. That's a 10% move. So you do want those larger moves. And I really appreciate using that example, Sharif, because it does show the size of the the size of the potential move that is required for like some nice little penny on that trade. Calendar spreads, though, too. We talked about straddles. Another type of way the market can spread is through calendar spreads, and that's going to be involving buying and selling options on the same stock with different expiration dates. So with straddles, you had the same stock with the same expiration date. It's going to be different in calendar spreads, hence calendar, because it's got different dates on the calendar. I love when things work out like that. And these are going to be a little bit less risky than straddles because it benefits from time decay on the shorter term option. And you'll be profitable in this scenario if your volatility remains relatively stable or if the volatility decreases. And I'm a little bit behind here. There we go. So here's one example. So you've got, this is over time here, right? So you've got this window where you have profit, the stock price can go either way, and that's the case in which you will lose. You've got your break even here as well. I definitely want to understand more about these call options. Something I want to read a lot more about. But yeah, I think for right now, I really like these diagrams. And again, this is a little bit less risky than straddles because instead of betting on one of those options panning out that day, calendar spreads give you some time. So for example, again, not advice, just one kind of example. If you've got, like, let's say instead of day one earnings, you have one that expires day one earnings, the other one maybe expires like a week after earnings, right? For a longer move. One example of how you might play this specifically for earnings, but again, not an options trader, something I want to learn more about. So we go from calendar spread to talking about the importance of the earnings calendar to help you screen for potential plays. So the earnings calendar, one way that you can help utilize this is to identify potential upcoming earnings release dates. And then what you can do is prioritize companies with high potential for earnings surprises or with significant market reactions. And this is where the planning ahead comes in. As I said, Danielle Shea has talked quite extensively about her 21-day earnings window, because they give you times you're an options trader to think, hey, what are some of the potential moves might be? What's the word on the street? What are people like talking about? What are people looking at? What's the street saying? And then you kind of know what you want to get involved in there, because you do want to consider the timing of earnings releases relative to other market events as well. So it's not just when is it releasing. Is it going to be releasing the same day as like an NFP? Is going to be releasing the same day as, I don't know, like the FOMC meeting. That could be really bad, unless you're a Powell, which I swear that company times themselves to be released on Powell Day. But either way, you know what I mean? Like, you want to be aware. You want to find out if there's anything you have to be aware of. And here's one example for Earnings Whisper. One thing I like too as well about Earnings Whisper is someone who looks in advance for earnings when I do the week ahead. They'll give you if the date's confirmed or not. Because sometimes these companies will confirm like 2 days before earnings. And I'm like, well, I would have put you on the calendar had you been there. So if you see the little check mark on Earnings Whisper, that means the date is confirmed. And if you're looking for like time-based options trading, that's certainly something to be aware of. Fundamental analysis is another thing to keep in mind when you're trading earnings plays, especially, right? You want to know industry performance so you can help identify sectors with positive growth prospects or earnings expectations, or negative if you're like a little bit of a bear. Wow. Shout out to Big Spal Burdette. You might want to be looking for some names that actually, or sectors that look a little bit weaker, so you can target names in there. Company growth is worth noting too. You want to look for companies, or I guess sectors as well, that have some consistent revenue if the sector is strong, if you've got a company that generally has earnings, NVIDIA, because that will signify strong financial health, and again, not perfect, but maybe a likely chance they'll be able to beat earnings if you're looking to go long. Earnings history is also worth noting, as I just kind of alluded to there. You might want to analyze past earnings reports to identify patterns and trends, and look at the history that this company has with surprises. Not like jumping out of from the corner and screaming surprise, but when you have like let's say it drops like 10% compared to an expected 5%. You want to evaluate the company's track record of beating or missing earnings estimates. That can be really huge here as well. Also, options Greeks. Shout out to people looking at, shout out to Socrates. No, I'm joking. But options Greeks can give you another way to look here at these markets. So implied volatility is one thing to keep in mind on. This can help you measure market expectations for price fluctuations, because higher implied volatility can often indicate increased options premiums, which can be beneficial for options-based strategies. And we know volatility is huge. We have Obi talking a lot about like RVol, right? And how that can play a role in seeing if there's a strong reaction on earnings. So you definitely want to be aware of that type of thing for sure. Also, time decay. You want to understand how the time value of options can erode, can decay as the expiration date approaches, because this can influence your choice of expiration dates. You know, we talked a lot about, like I see some people in the chat, like 0 DTE options, right? And again, I want to learn more about this because I have the option to learn, so I should take it. Delta, I'm just joking, it's just a pun. Delta is another thing too that you want to be aware of with regards to the Greeks and options. You want to measure the option sensitivity to change in the underlying stock price. So this will help assess the potential profit or loss for different stock price movements. If you've got one that's a little bit more sensitive, that could maybe impact your P&L. Also, the theta is worth noting here too. Not delta and theta in terms of sleep, but delta and theta in terms of these options, right? This can represent the rate of the time decay, and understanding theta is really important to help manage your options position. But also another part of, here's one example. So you've got delta, which is the sensitivity of the price options, theta, the rate of decay, gamma, which is the rate of change to the delta. That's interesting. So you've got how much the sensitivity changes in relation to the price of the security. So that's really fascinating. Vega too, shout out to Alexa Vega of Spy Kids for some reason. This can help represent an option sensitivity to volatility, and then rho, which can represent how sensitive the price of an option is relative to interest rates. And risk management, worth noting too, you want to consider diversification, so spreading your risk again across multiple stocks and strategies. Also position sizing, so make sure to determine appropriate position sizes based on risk tolerance. This is true of trading, but especially of options. And stop loss orders, make sure you're protecting yourself before you wreck yourself. Protect your neck. Shout out to the Wu-Tang Clan, because, you know, when you're a trader, cash does rule everything around you. So good luck there. And if there's any stocks ruling anything around you right now, get in that chat and vote. Exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you're interested in. I want to shout out Bears versus Bulls for like everything you do, but also just for, I know I see you in the chat, making sure if anybody has a little bit of an error in their vote, making sure that vote is filed appropriately, because we do believe in a democratic system here and Trader TV Live, making sure everyone's voice is heard. So if you want your voice heard, if you want Neil and Obi to look at a stock that you want to look at, get in that chat and let us know. Yeah, I have a bit of a trade to talk about, but I want to hear what you were up to, because I know you were involved in the TQs.
I am still involved, looking to take it short, but we did get into that closing print from yesterday, so I'm going to have to be careful here. I've been getting cut up on the future, going long, going short, so we'll see if we can find a bit of resistance over here. Still out of the money right now, so we'll see if this one can flush back down. We're still below 18.2, but 18.175 was yesterday's closing print. So we're at that level, and it looks like we are bouncing off it, at least for now. So we'll see if we can catch a bit of a sell to the downside. I'm going to have to cut this if it continues to move up. So I'm keeping my eye on about 55.25, generally in that area. If we can get somewhere below 55, I'll be looking to take profits. But if we get above 55.25, I'm going to have to sadly put my line in the sand there. So we're going to go and we're going to put, 55 and said quarter. And we'll be looking to get out everything there. And whoa, it just popped up quite aggressively there. So just going to have to look for a sec. I think I did already put a stop order. Okay. So I'm going to pack my patience over here. I'll just use my flatten key if this one pops up. But I was looking for continued weakness. Maybe I'm a little late to the party, as we obviously had a big down move preceding my entry, which I'm obviously very cognizant of. But 55.25, I'm going to have to actually say, see ya. To this trade. So we're zigging and zagging right now, a little bit out of the money, about 15, 20 pennies out of the money. And here we go, 55.25 coming. So I'm going to have to likely cut this bad boy, as the future's up marginally right now about, there we go. So it's zigging and zagging. Let's see if it continues up over here. Looks like that $0.25 is getting taken, so that's all right. We'll have to take an L on this one. I'll look to get back in if we definitely continue above 18.2. But that was a mistake on my part. More irrational trading, to be quite honest. I just jumped in it without having a plan. So that'll make me rethink doing that again. But yeah, we're above 18.2 right now. So I did get cut up a little bit, sadly, on the future. So just make sure that I have no outstanding orders, so I didn't get in trouble again. Here we go. Above 18.2 we go. And this is what I'm looking at. This is what I keep looking at my side chart for. So this is the white line right here, 18.175. That was break even level on the day. We come back in there. We actually breach it. So we didn't actually hold up there. So I was like, all right, we're breaching it. Maybe we can make it down into that 18.030. We still could. We're still below the 10 exponential. We also have another area of local resistance at 18.280. So that if we weasel our way up there, I'll definitely be looking short there. So we'll keep tabs on this one. We're still zigging and zagging right now, a little bit above 18.2, a little bit below. So keeping tabs on that. Let's flip to some of these other non-Mag 7 related names and see what the sitch is. All right. Finally, Upstart starting to give way here. 36.40 HOD. It's now down into 34.60. So it's about $2 off the high. It breached the 10, the 20. The 10 now is pointing downward. So a little bit of a possibly different look. Personally, I'm loving this one at 33.50 or thereabouts, wherever VWAP is, essentially. I want to see if this one actually respects the volume weighted average price. I'm not going to have a resting order in and around there. I'd like to see exactly what it does, but it's breached both moving averages on my chart over here. Let's look at the 15. Let's see what the sitch is on the 15. So just got to the 10 and did breach it by a little bit here on the 15-minute look. So just want to see what every other possible traders are looking at. That's a 10-minute chart over here. No question, whatever time frame you're looking at, we definitely put in a rounded top with lower highs and lower lows, since that candle that printed 36.40 happened at around 12:30. So we're better part of an hour now of selling off as it's 124. Keep tabs on Upstart. Great day today. No question about it for whoever is been trading or investing this, at least if you've been trading it to the long side, I hope you've been printing on that because it was one gnarly move to the high side there. Let's go back to the future, not the movie, but the actual futures contract. There we go. We're still zigging and zagging. A little bit above 18.2. We did get into almost 20s or thereabouts, so keeping an eye on the future. Definitely still interested in the short. It's just really where I get in, or do I have to DCA into certain areas because I may not get that, exact top. I'm looking at the Mag 7, seeing what they're doing as they do dictate the pace or the direction of the futures. It looks like we're getting some green candles, on some of them. Apple printed a nice green candle there, Microsoft as well as Meta, but these guys are all below key technical areas. For example, Meta's below everything. The 10, the 20, the 50, VWAP, Microsoft, same deal. Amazon, same deal. Tesla, Google, NVIDIA, they're all below the 10, the 20, and everything else. It's really only Apple that's zigging and zagging here. It's at the 10, below the 20, below VWAP. So, at a kind of an area of indecision. It did print, though, that lower high. So we were talking about the incrementally higher lows that it was putting in earlier. That's changed ever since this dip into 210 and a third. We're about 211 and 2/3 now. So well off the bottom, but that pattern, that consistent pattern with respect to price action has changed somewhat. Let's see the future. Looks like it. The future could be on the way up here as we do now take that 18.2 and a quarter. Not like that. That was a super support level or anything like that. The 10 exponential on my 5 chart is at 18.255. So I don't have any trades right now as the future kind of in an area of indecision. At least I don't have a read on it right now. Let me see what you guys are looking at. Gorev, Nike holding relatively well. This might be a good area for a double bottom. We'll look at that in a sec. Trader CL, 10-year and soon inverted again. Oh, the 2-year soon inverted again. Let's see what they're at right now. So the 10-year, 3951. The 2-year, 3943. They are inverted again, my man. They did invert on Monday when we had that huge sell-off. So good call out by you. We'll see if that stays that way because, yeah, well, the 2-year was ahead of the 10-year, I think, even yesterday. So we'll see if that continues to do that. Let's look at Nike, though, for our man Gorev. Let's close this chart super quick over here and bring in the trusty side chart with all the indicators there. NKE. Let's load it up. All right, so this is the daily. Wow, that's an ugly looking daily. It can't get past 75, eh? That's interesting. Ever since the earnings dump, 75 has been a bit of a resistance level. That's actually good to know on Nike. I didn't actually have eyes on that. 70 generally support, 75 resistance, a range now of almost more than a month. So this earnings dump with June 28th. Okay, so that's the first order of business. Second order of business, let's look at the 5. So I don't know what you're looking at, Gorev, in terms of a double bottom. Are you talking about these 2 5-minute candles here at 115 and 120? Let's see what Gorev said. This might be a good area for a double bottom. Yeah, if you're talking about these 2 candles, that's kind of the only double bottom I can see.
I think it means more like it could double bottom. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to interpret that.
Yeah. Well, who knows? We'll see when he responds. But shout out to Gorev. Nike having a decent day today. It's not bad. It's definitely up nicely here. 72.50 was the closing print today. Prints 74.20. But like I mentioned on the daily over here, it seems to be stuck in that $5-ish range. Obviously, these outlying candles here on earnings day are not in that $75 range. But essentially, anything from July 8th onwards has been a reject 75 kind of day. Thank you for that, Gorev, because that's actually quite telling there. Looks like the future might be headed back down. Oh, no. Let's see here, topping tail candle into that 18.250, and then we're heading back down into 18.2. Oh, baby. Is this time to short again, or am I just going to get cut up more here on the future? What are you looking at, Adara?
Yeah, I am, oh my gosh, Kay, I'm 75 pennies in the money on Shopify. As Shreve says, you're always going to be mad as a trader. I wanted to add in here at 78s at one point. Like, that was a while ago. We get to 77s, and then Shopify's like, oh, do you want me to drop a fine? And I was like, yeah, but preferably after I added. And Shopify was like, I don't care. and drop further. I'm really proud though, because this is one that I really waited for. And I was like, honestly, I had to wait even while I was in it. While I was doing the lesson, I was checking this guy intermittently, babysitting it, like, are you okay? How are you feeling? How's the temperature? Can I get you anything? So with that in mind, I did take up part of the position at 66 as planned, but I added at 66.06s. Initially, I was trying to add at 66.10s, but then we kept getting lower highs, and I was like, Adara, if you don't add, you're not getting an ad. So I added, then we dropped, got part of the position out here around 65.70s, because that was a bit of an area at which we paused. I got back in Disney as well, which just got filled there. So I'm going to switch over to Disney. Okay, so DIS, what I was looking for, we had that big pop up. I was like, oh, is it a long off the 90 MA? Then Disney was like, oh, I remembered I was in a downtrend. I'm like, yeah, you are, Disney. Let's keep going. So I'm going to give this to 87.15s, which should be wicks notwithstanding here. The next highest, it would be a higher high if we break above that area, was what I was trying to say. So I'm going to take part of this. You know, we're going to, we'll do like 75s. We'll do 75s. Because 80s, I would say, would be like one of those kind of wick areas. But we'll do 75s. It's a smaller position than one I had last time, because I don't want to like spend all my time getting involved in this trade. But one thing that I've noticed too, in terms of like learning and trying to grow, yesterday was a good day, but some of the names that I did better on, like AMD and CrowdStrike, I let go. And so one of the things too that I'm trying to work on is, like, if you see a trend, the trend is your friend till the end when it bends. That doesn't just mean not revert. That means if the trend exists, why are you not playing it till the hilt? Why are you not playing it every time it comes in? That was something I was absolutely not doing yesterday that I tried to do today, which is why I was on Disney all day. We'll see if this might have been a little bit of a, mistake to go fast pass on this particular ride at Disney World. But I do like this look right now. I have no reason to not like it. We had that 87 level that we took a while to break. And to be clear, I still stand by getting out of this where I did, because the fact that the rest of the market was dropping and Disney was chilling, I was like, Disney, did you forget you're like selling off? But yeah, we'll see what happens here. I'm not really looking to add at Disney because, like I said, I don't want to give up the gains I had in this name earlier. And that, to me, I don't think is like, trading P&L. I just think this trade is a little bit lower probability compared to the ones we had earlier, given especially that random little support we have here. As we pop up at 87.15s, let's see what we do here. This was also a bit of an area earlier, which is the other reason I liked it. That's where I got out of that first short, because that's where things got a little bit topsy and a bit turny. If we make a higher high here, that is going to definitely be a change in the tides, at which case I'd be interested in getting long Disney if it bounces off the 90 MA. Either way, happy I tried that trade, because you never know if you don't try. And as I said, let's see what we do at 87.15s. Disney's like, oh, do you want me to drop again? I'm like, yeah, sure. Go ahead. Let's do it. Shopify, wow, I think that must have been a dark pull away, because I would have seen that. But yeah, Shopify, I am honestly so tempted to add if we get back to 65.50s. I don't want to be bag holding. Well, I guess not bag holding. We're in the money, but I want to be cognizant here. I just think that we could get a little bit lower. Right now, we've bouncing off 65s. I don't have a reason to leave. Even if I don't add, I don't feel I have a reason to leave. I want to see what we do here as we get to 65s, 50s, and 60s. Like I said, I'm trying to hold positions for a bit longer. That's definitely a new thing for me. And so far, that's been going all right. Disney definitely, though, trying to get off the schneid a bit here at 87.15s. Happy I tried the long, but right now it's time for me to say goodbye, whatever, Mickey Mouse laugh, to this one, unless and or until I see my bounce here off the 90 MA. So that was the look. AMD long, says Robin Sandu? Gee. Okay. Got a little burned on an AMD long earlier today. And honestly, I kind of see what you're seeing with regards to the fact that we have a slightly higher low here on a 5-minute basis. However, we also are wicking up here. We failed to break above the 90 MA on a wick basis, and we did that into some pretty clear support. Support can become resistance. To me, this chart is not a long unless and or until we can get A above the 90 MA and B above 132, because to me, those are the two biggest area of resistance. And right now, they're sort of kind of in tandem together. So be aware of that. And if you want to look at AMD or any other ticker, make sure you vote in the chat, ! join, space, $, whatever ticker you like. Shopify, keep Shopifying to the downside. I like you right now. Again, if I see anything distinct in the tape that makes me want to leave, I'll leave. But right now, I don't see that, so I want to stay in this. IWM, I have eyes on you, but I don't want to revenge trade you either, because I had one good trade in IWM and then some really bad ones. So we'll see what happens here. Not trying to rush into anything. Novo, though, this Novo kind of interesting for me here as well. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the TQQ still involved in this, about I'm break even at the moment on this. Looking for a move down. We keep zigging and zagging above 18.2, but we're below the 10 exponential. Right now, we haven't printed a new high, so we'll see if we can weasel our way down, maybe into 18.175 again. Packing my patience on this trade. There we go. We get the first beak wetter nicely here. On this one, we can see if we can get the second one here just in front of 55s or whether or not we're going to bounce at the fifth of a dollar, the quarter of a dollar, generally in that area. Here is 20s. Looks like there's generally a small buyer here at 20 as it holds up at that level. So I've been zigging and zagging here with the future. So I'm just trying to, pack my patience because I like what I see. When we're at the 100-point level, you're always a little concerned to see whether you defend it or whether you were, give way at it. Right now, I don't see the things I need to see to kind of be worried about breaking through it, but we're holding above it. So maybe that in and of itself is trouble. So I'm looking to add at the half dollar. That's a plain DCA. As you can see, that is still waiting there. But if I do see a breach of that 10 exponential on the 5, I will not be very interested on it for much longer. 18.250 or thereabouts. That's where my 10 exponential on the 5 is. Here we go. So we did get that add. Let's see. We're on the way up here into the 10 exponential. So out of the money now for my position, but still waiting to see exactly what we do at this level. Let's see exactly here. There we go. I'm going to look to add into that area as we were. Well, we're above, and right now the 225 area. We're still below the 10 exponential, though. I was able to de-risk nicely there on the way down, so we'll see if we can stay a little bit profitable on this trade. I think my line in the sand is going to be anything above 70. There is an area of local resistance there. So let's go 75er, and then we'll look to cover into that level. So that's the good look. All right, so let's see if we can move back down here below the half dollar. So here we go again into the downside. So look, be waiting around here for a possible print. We'll set up that beak wetter there. We'll see if we get that. Some weakness still zigging and zagging a little bit below the 10 exponential on the 5, but it does look like it may want to take it here. So break even at the moment on this trade, but looking for a little bit more to the downside. If we can print something in the 30s, I think that would definitely help me out a little bit. Here come 40s, but yeah, still price action support at this area. What are the other components of the market doing? Let's have a look over here at the Mag 7, see what they're up to. Yeah, well, they're rejecting the 10 exponential as well. Most of them anyway. It looks like Tesla did breach the 10 exponential, at least for a moment, got into the 20. Amazon still below it. So is Meta. So is Microsoft. Google just got to it, but a smidge below it. Same sitch with what's it called? NVIDIA, the monster. It's also just a skosh below that level as well. So here we go. If we can get something in the mid 30s, we're printing 39s or so, but we're still getting buying at this area. Not really flushing in the way that we were earlier, guys. So interesting look here to see if we can continue down or whether this is just going to be an 18.2 pop and defend at that level, Adara. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking to reject the 10 exponential on the 5 on the NQ September contract. I'm trading the TQQs using the chart on the NQ September contract.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to that. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
No, sorry, I didn't realize.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Fingers crossed there for you. I hope you print as always. We always hope everyone prints here on How to Trade. And also on Trader TV Live, just in general. So Shopify here, I actually added to this position. I did mention I was considering adding, I was always planning on adding to this. I didn't get the level I necessarily wanted, which is going to be 78s. But then as I saw, we kept getting into that 65.50 without any kind of zhuzh, without any kind of oomph. So I got involved here, 65.49s. This might be an ad I regret, but right now, we're just kind of chopping and churning. I want to see what we do here at 65.20s. If we can break below that, and again, maybe I'm overstaying my welcome. I'm fully willing to admit that could be the case. But I am trying to practice holding trades for longer and having more of these sustained moves. And honestly, if you don't practice, you never know. You can't get to Carnegie Hall without practice. So yeah, so just being aware of that. That being said, we had Shopify holding VWAP for forever and then breaking down beautifully. Disney, a bit of the opposite. I said Disney bounced off the 90 MA. I wanted that smoke. We're going to start adding here at 21s. I'm going to be looking to add again if we get to 17s. I don't know if we will. Trying to build a position here in Disney. If we break below 10s, that's where I'm going to have to get out here because I do really like that Disney long. I wait. This is, to me, a pretty substantial change here in Disney. I'm actually, I'm going to change my entry levels on this a bit because I want to be more realistic in terms of what I actually think will get filled. We'll start with 25s. 21s will add a bit of a piece here as well, and then I'm just going to wait and see what we do at 10s because to me, the fact that we had so much resistance below the 90 EMA, the fact that we're trying to now use it as support is deeply fascinating to me. Shopify, still in the money with that average position, so I'm cool with that. Let's see if we can keep pushing lower, and I'm proud of myself for trusting myself. You know what I mean? Like the trades that have been the diciest today were ones that I was just kind of like, I don't know if I felt like I needed to be in a trade or what. There was just some like odd choices, but it's like if you have the levels on it, then you do owe yourself to take, you got to take it with confidence. You got to take it with pride. And so I think that's been a huge thing for me. SPX, let's go up, says Tom H. I would, for the Disney part of me, I would love to. Shopify, I'm a little bit like, no. But Shopify is kind of on its own little trajectory here anyway. So that's a bit of its own story. I'm going to actually take out half the position here because why not? And then we're going to save a piece for the dream, and that dream, again, averaged out. Honestly, if we can get back to that area from which we popped up here, which was like 64.70s, that would be amazing. I have no idea if we will, but we're going to have to wait and see what we do here. Also, though, the SPY, to get into Tom H's comments in a little bit more detail, the SPY, interesting to me here, because I think we're clearly at a decision point on the 90 EMA. We had a big old topping tail candle. Now we're trying to bounce. Let's look at, and I think we have some support here at 523.50, so again, potential support here for sure. Let's take a look, though, at this 10-minute chart here for a bit of a wider time frame. Wider time frame, the SPY, to me, I want to see us get in. This is a 10-minute. Let's see what we do at that 525 because, like I said, on the 5-minute, definitely some support here at 523.50. But if you go to a wider time frame, if you go to the 10-minute, there are a lot of topping tail candles and not a lot of oomph, with the exception of that support actually here just above 522. Thank you. Adrian saying he agrees with me on the SPY. Kyle Burdett also, I guess, agreeing here because he says more puts around 525 SPY if it gives it to me. Yeah, I think that 525 level for the SPY is definitely one I would be spying if I was involved. So shout out to you, Big Smile Burdett, Big Smile Burdett, whatever nickname you want to use. As always, we hope everybody prints over here, whether you're long, short, or a little bit of both. I don't know how you can be both, but you can be in and out, so that works. IWM here could not get above the 204. I was watching 204 for a potential long because I was watching it for a short earlier, and then I was like, if we have that pull up in the market, I would like to go long here. And IWM could not give us that 204s. So that being said, I'm actually kind of interested in shorting here. We've got Kyle Burdett saying the smile is big today. So he is big Kyle, big smile, whatever you want to use. He's got a big smile. He's ready to take some trades. I guess he's in some trades there. So am I. And you know what? We're going to actually try for a short at 203.69s on IWM because what's life without whimsy? So we'll see if we get it. I'm willing to risk here into we'll risk like 20 pennies. It'll be 2 or 370s. I don't think I'll get filled here. Shopify is still shopifying and turning. Disney, we're ready to get that. If we get to 21s, that'll do something for me. I'll get the second part of my position added in here. But happy what's been going on in these trades. Happy I've just trusted myself to be ready to keep going because honestly, you're not going to do anything if you don't trust yourself and your reads sometimes on these here markets within reason, not just getting involved all willy-nilly. So good times. Also, AMD coming into that 132 level that I mentioned. Someone was asking if it was a long, and I said, see what it does at 132. AMD knocking on the door of 132. Now, I just got added into Disney, so we'll see as Disney gets a little bit droppy here. IWM, a bit interesting. I think IWM and the SPY both coming into potential areas of support here on the 5-minute chart. A little bit of baby shelves. So let's see if those elves can hold up those shelves. How are you doing?
I like that. We're doing real well here on the future, man. We're short 56s.
Happy to hear it.
Thank you. Just took out some at 20s. Looking for the next beak wetter at 10s. We're printing 15s. All right. Well, we're below 19.2 again, but we're still above that yesterday closing print at 18.177, 76. Generally, that area. I'm looking for another move down as we did reject that 10 exponential on the 5. We topping tailed through that on the 5-minute. Here's the look. This is what I'm looking at right here, and this is why I kept shorting the futures, even though I was getting stopped out. I had the right idea, poor execution. Let's see if we got printed there. Yes, we did get printed. On the way down goes the future. Very happy with that. That's almost a 60 penny winner there on the future. If we can get some more, 50 penny winner on the future. If I can get some more, I'll be happy. We're bouncing up now. We're defending that 18,177, 176 area. That is, again, sorry to repeat myself, but that's the closing print from yesterday. So we are defending that area. So even though we did get a 10 exponential on the 5 rejection with a few topping tails, do we hold up here? I'm just asking myself a rhetorical question out loud. So I'm happy with this trade. Got me out of some trouble with all these shorts here that weren't doing that well. And I took much larger size up here, so good thing it panned out. Anyway,
Confidence.
Yeah, look, I get all that. I do things a little bit differently. You know how I roll. So we're gonna keep looking at this one, see if we can weasel down a little bit below that 55 area. I'd like something possibly at 54.90. That would be a breach of the 18,176 area. I think we hold on, let me just double check that super quick. I think the low there, the local low, 18,155. So we technically did defend that 150 area, but definitely looking for a lower low than that, not looking to wet my beak around there. So packing my patience, took the out at 10s. I have one more out, so I'm gonna pack my patience on this one, see if we can get a little bit lower. Gorev, Uber is consolidating at its highs on VWAP. Good earnings day 2 so far. Shout out to Jay Lee, congrats. I wish I could have you start at 57. Yeah, that would have been really good, right? I mean, right up there. I see what you're looking at, Jay. That consolidation area top there. Good look, Jay. Shout out to you. Let's have a look at Uber for our friend Gorev, and we kind of just did it like Obi, but that's okay because we do that around here.
Yeah, right? we do. All jokes aside, we do we borrow each other's phrases. It's fun.
Right? Let's have a look at Uber. So he's saying consolidating at its highs on VWAP. Good earnings day. Let's see. Yeah, you're not wrong at all with that, Gorev. Every single closing print north of that volume weighted average price. It's been absolutely defending all day. Did not have eyes on that. What I do see though, Gorev, I know that's not really relevant for the range trade at the moment, but you have incrementally lower highs, but you do have that support generally at the volume weighted average price. If you gave yourself enough room, because there were bottoming tail candles through VWAP, but immediately got bought up to close at or above VWAP. Importantly though, and when I zoom in, I see it even more, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower, multiple lower highs over here. I'm not saying flat bottom break, but that's a good look by you, Gorev, because I think that the day 2 play is important. Get down, futures. All right, we're waiting here for 55s. All right, here we go. And there it is. Very happy with this dang trade. There we go. 55, 59. We were short. We just took it out at 55s, excuse me, and it's continuing to go down. So you're always angry. I'm just talking about myself. Always angry as a trader, but there it is. Nice short off the future as we dip down below 18,176 again. Keep your eye, though, on that 18,155. We did have price action support last time around there. Let's see what the Mag 7 are doing, because the future is headed down aggressively. So it behooves us to see what's the sitch with the Mag 7, and they're all looking down except the dead one. The dead one probably will end up selling off at the close, because it is putting lower highs and lower lows. And guys, I'm just joking when I call it the dead one. Again, I have to keep repeating myself because we always have newer viewers who are like, what are you guys talking about? Who's dead? Nobody's dead. Yes, we are putting in lower highs and lower lows on Apple. And you're always going to see on my black charts anyway, you're always going to see the ticker that I'm looking at in this white triangle right here, AAPL. You'll always see it like that. See Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, etc. So AAPL still trying to hold above 211, still below the volume weighted average price and not really making any higher highs. But I think this one sells off likely into the close. We'll have to wait and see if there's any market on close orders to get rid of this bad boy. But the future, here comes 5-5s, and there goes 5-5s. Adara, we are headed down. Oh, baby. 18,146. We're bleeding. We are now negative on the NQ September contract by about 0.2%. Yes, we were at 18,558. That seems like a long time ago. A lot of blood today in these here markets, Adara, as you like to say.
What a difference a day makes. Like 2 little hours. We go from like green to red on these markets. I guess my jacket ended up being a little bit prescient there, so I do apologize to any of the longs. I just take about 40 pennies here in the IWM, took that short again. I know I said I was initially looking for 70s, but then we broke that shelf area. I said, hey, Adara, support, resistance, flip it. So I got short there, 2 or 3 44s. Disney, oh wow, okay, Disney, I should have way better eyes than you. I apologize, Disney. I will be getting out of that mouse house now. Because I was getting so excited about my EWAM that my Disney was like, hey, Adara, what about me? So yeah, that was a mistake. We're breaking down below 87s there. Definitely should have had better eyes on that. I need to figure out how to work the whole like stop and like limit order system a little bit better because I admit I'm not necessarily good at that. But yeah, so there we go. Baby hit there on the House of Mouse. Should it like fill me? That would be good. But yeah, it was holding as a long. If I'd scalped it, I think it would have been appropriate, but it's all good there. Baby still up on DIS. Just definitely, unfortunately, gave up some of those games that didn't last long. But yeah, I was in 3 trades at one time.
Wow.
For a second there. It was just a little bit stressful for me. Profitable in 2 of them. Did definitely I should have had better eyes in Disney. But this Shopify, the reason I got out where I did at 25 is because we got violently we pushed violently up into 65.50s. And I was like, And then we dropped back below. We kept struggling with that 25 level. I said, Adara, just get out here. You'll feel better if you get out here. And if you see here, as the market drops, we still have Shopify holding that 65 level. Kyle Burdett showed it to the $10 super chat. Jeez. In the words of Ric Flair, woo! Ric Flair drip go woo! Also, there was a comment here from someone, Spencer Schmidt. I got a kick out of your comment. I know I talk really fast. I apologize. It's just these markets are so invigorating, and you know what I mean. It's so much fun, especially when you're in a trade. I definitely am trying to get better as well at communicating while I'm in these trades. But it's just been such a fun day in this market. I'm really happy with what happened here, and what else going on here? Looking at this, Profit Take Apple says GZ. Yeah, Apple has been. I haven't even looked at Apple in a while.
On the way down.
Let's figure out what happens over here. Apple here below. Oh, Apple 211.50. That's getting written down tomorrow because look at that VWAP bounce. Wick, break below, come back up, and then we drop lower. So this to me, that 11.50, that 211.50 with VWAP. To me, if I had better eyes on that, my verdict for that trade would have been, it's guilty. So let's keep going. Celebrate every victory, says Easy Mike. I agree, and I think, too, the thing with victories, you don't want to just celebrate them. You also want to reflect, how could I have done better? And that's a huge thing, right? Like, some of these, like, IWM, I had some good trades, and I had some really questionable ones where it gave back some of those gains. Same with Disney, same with Shopify. So it's like, how can you do better? How can you have better eyes in the trade? Is there, like, getting a little bit better every single day? That's what I'm trying to work on as a trader. Right now, I am down in the day, but I know there are times where things were a lot dicier, so I was able to make back some of those gains. Nice. Excited to write in my journal and figure out, because I had a good day. Yesterday was a really good day. Definitely Monday and today were a little bit weaker. So it's like, how do you grow? How do you improve? And I don't mind celebrating victories as long as you're aware that you're celebrating them, but you're not resting on your laurels. You got Olympians, they win, and they got the next day, got to go back to training. That's the type of way you have to be in this here market. That's
Summer McIntosh is all I have to say. You don't know?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I've heard of her. Yeah, I haven't really followed. Yeah. That's true, yeah.
She printed up a storm in gold medals, Adara. 3 gold medals for Canada, baby, and 1 silver. Yeah, she's swimming up a storm. I don't know what she's doing. She's swimming up something, Adara. She's really good. She's back in Toronto. Shout out to her. Very proud of her making Canada and Toronto very proud. Summer McIntosh. Neil, you been following that? Of course he's been following that. Shout out to Neil. He knows what's up. Yeah, and don't ruin the track and field, by the way, for my friend Neil, right? Like when he comes on at 2:30, or sorry, 2 o'clock, you don't want to do that. You don't want to put, he'll come after you. Shout out to Neil, man. I wanted to mention.
No, okay, I don't know if it's on or not, but if somebody spoils it, we're going to have to play front hand, backhand. That's all I'm saying. It's a big, I love my track and field.
Neil, you got to tell him, what did the 5 fingers say to the face?
You know what they said. I don't have to say it.
Slap.
I'm just saying.
Loved it, man. Shout out to Dave Chappelle and obviously, you know, and Key and Peele, yeah. Another very, very similar kind of show. Big Spile, Big Smile, Burdett, as Adara likes to call him. I am swimming upstream and killing all the salmon. Roar! Big Spile, man. They got to spawn, bro. There's no spawning. There's no, obviously recirculating of the species. Big Kyle, take it easy there, man. Just joking.
This
We're having a good
analogy
time.
was wild, and I loved it.
Well, I don't know. He's killing them before they can spawn, Adara. I mean, isn't that what they do? They go into the ocean, and then they come back into the river system. They go up the river system to where they were born,
salmon.
right? Yeah, and then they're met with the bears, and the bears eat up the grizzlies, eating up a storm
Well, he is
there.
a bear, so that makes sense.
Oh, that is really good, Adara.
Thank you.
Do we have that bear thing that Sean always puts, Fabian? I don't know if you can get that.
Oh my gosh.
Big Smile, you got to take it easy there on the super chats, my man. You can tell the dude's printed up a storm today because he's getting really happy with the super chat. Another $10 super chat, Big Smile. Gonna be plenty of spawning in Big Smile's house today. Oh, why did I say the word spawning? Why did I say that? Big Kyle, man, you always make me laugh. One hell of a guy. I love this guy. Jay Lee, the Bears are feasting today. That's all. Yeah, man, they're getting their feast of salmons on that. Did you hear about the Fraser River out in BC overflooding its banks? And, like, apparently it's messing everything up because of the salmon trying to spawn and all the debris and everything that flowed down the Fraser from the Rocky Mountains is blocking all the upstream, incoming upstream, so the salmon can't go back to their spawning grounds. It's a very big problem, Adair. I think we should leave trading and go see what's up.
Yeah, we should go to Fraser River and check on the little salmons.
Everyone's like wondering, what are these Canadians talking about?
Yeah,
Can we talk about
BC.
trading? All right, let me talk about this one, guys. SLRX just showed up on my gap scanner. It's up 50% on the day. It's now printing about 12 1/3 million shares. I didn't have eyes on this one. I don't know why, but it definitely moved right at the open there at around 10 o'clock. Not the open, but around 10, it did find its footing. The range per candle has been wild. So you've really had to account for that when placing your stops. It's a beautiful rounded, these rounding shapes. You can see the rounding shape take effect earlier there after the initial spike. It did it again off the volume weighted average price. So it is finding some support right now. I would say some support likely at that 270. In the same way that it did over here. So we obviously had price action resistance at this area over here from 10:10 to say about 12 o'clock, where it was 250. That was support or resistance. I mean, 245, generally 245 is a better level. We clear that. Now we start using 245 as support. So if that's the case with this name, I'd say be looking out for that 270, 265 area. That would be price action support for this particular area over here, and you could weasel your way in. It's a good look. Let me give you the deets on this one, though. So it's a $1.66 million market cap. It's essentially tiny, so be very careful. 12.7 million shares on the day, 560,000 share float, minuscule. Okay, it's very small here. What is this company? Is it a Chinese company? Because sometimes they have these very small floats. No, it's not. Oh, they use LSD1 enzyme. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay. Clinical stage biopharmaca company. Fabian. SLRX. Let's find out the short float. Over 27% of the 1.3 million shares. Trade Ideas is saying. So Trade Ideas saying 1.3. My platform saying 560,000. Whatever it is, 27% of that is shorted. This thing can squeeze. I like 270 here for a possible dip trade on SLRX. Good luck, 292 high a day. Small cap gapper just showed up on my scanner, not sure why. Upstart is kind of doing exactly what I anticipated it would do. Sell off that 3640. It was a pay for shorts kind of situation at Real Trading over here for this. Neil, just for example's sake, so we can tell everybody about Real Trading, how much would 100 shares of Upstart cost me right now? 12 cents. Thank you, Neil. Thank you very much for that. So it would have cost you a whole 12 pennies to take 100 shares of this bad boy short. That's obviously a very good deal in case you don't know. So shout out to Real Trading. Best prop firm around, baby. No question about that. SPCE continues to sell off. SMCI very weak today, 547 high, but that's as good as it could do. It looks like it's on its way to $500, 502.46, essentially 502.5. Defend their printing 503s, but this thing moves dollars at a time, guys. So this is gonna split. We're gonna have to wait a couple of months for this bad boy to split. August 1st, the 10th?
October.
October, sorry.
October 1st. Yeah.
First, thank you. Yeah, because
August 1st would be a couple months.
It's gone, Adara. August
but
1st
you'd be
is
right.
gone.
It would be a few months because it would be August 1st, 2025.
Oh.
So you were right.
Okay. Yeah. October, I meant October. October 1st, guys, this bad boy splits is going to be a 10 for 1. So it's going to be, given the current price, to be about $50. Definitely a lot more tradable for retail. And that is their obvious intentions here. They want more retail involvement. Hey, you remember that one?
I do.
Uptober. Hopefully we'll get an Uptober this year. Again, it's prior to the election. So my bias guess, that's all that it is that we zig and zag until the election is done, and then we know our foot from our elbow, and then we can kind of move on from there. You're printing up a storm. Tell them about it.
I am. Thank you. Yeah. So I know I've been like trading quite a lot today, guys. It's just been a really, if there's opportunities, I've been like, I got to take them. Took some opportunities I shouldn't taken earlier today. But you know what? Generally, you've got to look at the trading and at your day on the balance of the evidence. And there are some decisions I made that I am very proud of. I'm going to stop like tooting my own horn here. The reason I liked that 65 on Shopify was because we couldn't break it earlier, right? So we break it, we have a retest. I got involved 94s here because I wasn't able to get full 65s. I was going to risk into that 65.20. I had a clear level because I had seen that level because I was in the trade earlier. Scalped out half the position here. I took some size on this too, 30 pennies in the money. Let's see if we can go lower. I also had a really brief SPY short. I think it took like 25 pennies on half the position or 2/3 of the position, and the rest of the position I got out like just shy of 522s here. That was a whole dollar breakdown. This type of trade I like to take on the SPY as it breaks down, which I have talked about before. But also, I can't believe it's already like 2 p.m. Sharif.
I didn't even know.
Yeah. Do you want to say goodbye?
No, I don't.
Okay, Sharif does not want to say goodbye. Shout out to Sharif, though. Thank you so much for everything you do. He puts together the lesson every single day. He's awesome, and he says, I have to hold on for a bit. I can keep talking. That's not a problem. I want to see what Shopify does here. If we keep going lower, happy I took out half the position. Hope you guys had fun because this has been such a fun day today. Thank you, Daryl Flinch. I appreciate it, And there were times where I wanted to flinch in the Shopify trade because I had tried this short a couple times and it didn't work out. But one thing that Neil and Opie were saying last Friday that I really have tried to learn from was sometimes the best trades or the most fulfilling trades or the trades you don't expect are the ones that you take because you didn't get it the first try. This is my third try at the Shopify short, and I hate to be trite or cliched, but third time was indeed the charm. And sometimes it's just like, if you still see those levels, don't doubt yourself. If you still have the confidence or whatever, go after it. That last try was just, maybe the markets are doing something different here. I am going to get out here at Shopify because, like I said, don't take trades beyond the midday. And also, I don't like this bounce we're having at 80s. So I'll take 20-ish pennies, 15 pennies. I have no qualms about that. That is for sure. I hope you guys had a really fun day here, though. NVIDIA, says Roger. Yeah, I'm going to pull up NVIDIA in a second here. I just want to get out of my shops. Close up shop for the day here. Shopify, though, if you give us any day 2 plays, that would be fun for sure. We've got NVIDIA here. Let's see what NVIDS is up to. We've got NVIDS. Ooh. Oh, wow. Okay, NVIDIA getting a little bit. I haven't really looked at a lot of these Mag 7s today, so I guess that, maybe I just have, I forgot how these move. But NVIDIA getting all wild and woolly here just above this 101 area. We're just waiting for Sharif to get ready, guys. So I will continue to talk until we find out what's happening here. So we're going to get out here basically flat at Shopify. I wasn't able to get filled here earlier. My NVIDIA chart, for some reason, only showing me 1 5-minute candle. So I'll pull up my side chart on NVDA. Ooh, NVDA had a bit of an interesting area here. That is for sure. Shout out to Roger. I remember at one point, someone in the chat said, oh, we barely down NVIDIA. Now we're red, but also now we're looking for Sharif at the green screen. See you guys tomorrow. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. We got my pal Sharif over there.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you get to decide what we talk about every day. Sean's on vacation, but we got Obi, we got Neil. They're ready to look at the